Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to what's talk raps. You're listening to what's talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
What's up? What's up? It is I. It is him. We're in the building. You know what time it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay. Of course, I'm not alone. I am here with the curator of the BW500. Just happens to be my co-host, Righteous Reg.
In the building, it's your boy, Media Man, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, the curator of list, your favorite list. It's your boy. If you want all the exclusives, you have to come to Grapsody. Been talking about this thing on a couple podcasts already, Phil. Shout out to Busted Open Radio. I was on there earlier today. Very dope. Shout out to my homegirl, Denise, for hooking that up to talk about this list, man. And it's just been crazy. The first tweet I've ever had, Philip, that's hit 1 million impressions is like, yo, that's a lot. 1 million people looked at some little thing that I made, and that's crazy.
Listen, we out here, man. The influence is felt, man. It is what it is, man. Other than that, how is your Saturday going? I've been up since really early. I'm usually up very early for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Besides that, got up, watched a couple basketball highlights. I see that everybody's talking about my homeboy doing a tip-off and looking very silly outside. But, you know, it's preseason. We getting started. Homeboy with the long arms was all over the court. Your arms, his name has to be Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God, right? Because, like, can't nobody handle, what's his name? Victor
Wembanyama.
Like, yo,
Wembanyama.
What is this, bro? How do you?
That was a dope play. That block, and then he got down and chased it down and got that dunk. I was like, bro. Oof. Sorry, Clay.
Come on, man. It's about to be scary outside for the homie. But yeah, I'm feeling good about our squad. I'm not even, we're going to let this Chris Paul thing linger, see what happens. But so far, so good.
Chris Paul out here sharing swapping jerseys with Wembanyama. Season hasn't even started. I'm just like, bro, what's going on? You retired? What's happening?
Hold on, bro. What's happening? It's pretty early. No, but I feel him, though. You want to get in on the ground floor, you know what I mean? Like, I got this jersey early, big dog. What's up?
Hey, man. I get it, but in the same breath, I was sitting there like, what's happening, man? Like,
also,
is he leaving? You letting us know this your last year, Chris? What's up?
I mean, who's going to be mad at it? Speaking of last year, shout out to the homeboy Andre Iguodala, who just retired from the NBA after having a tremendous career. He's going to be missed. That's like, he wasn't playing all the time, but like having like a player coach type dude just at your service is something that people don't know is a very high thing to have.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to Iguodala. AI 2.0, as he was called at one point when he was a Philadelphia Sixer. He was out there jumping out the gym, dunking on fools. Very entertaining guy to watch at that time. And then had like a second half of his career with the Warriors. 4-time champion, Finals MVP.
Fire.
Yeah. What a career. Big congratulations to Iguodala. Also, congratulations to the Las Vegas Aces. Picking up that second championship in a row. Candace Parker getting 3 championships now. Aja Wilson, probably one of the best basketball players in the world right now. MVP, Finals MVP.
I love them for bringing this energy to the WNBA because they've talked for so long about we need more of this, we need more of that, we need superstars, we need viewership, and like this team, along with a bunch of other teams in the NBA, WNBA this season, have brought that energy. But for Candace Parker to call her shot again is like,
bro.
how do you wait? You did it before, but then you're like, now I'm about to go to Vegas and win another one. Like, all right,
Yeah, again, I kind of wanted to see her stay here and win another one in Chicago, but
definitely.
can't hate on the hometown girl coming here and in her first season as a Chicago Sky, bringing us our first WNBA championship, and
Yeah.
then going out there and keeping it going in Vegas. Man, yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have a super team out there. It was
I'm
crazy.
saying,
Um, I looked at the odds at that game because a lot of people expected New York to win that game because the Aces had two players injured going into that game. I was like,
yeah.
it might go back to Vegas. Nah, they were
Nah.
like, we're not doing that. They listened to Jordan's advice. We don't do game sevens.
No, yeah. We go about to end this tonight and then go part. We're gonna go back to Vegas, but to party.
Yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to them. Definitely getting excited about regular basketball season starting
This
again.
time. It's lit. We on
Yeah.
fire. The homeboy Jonathan Hood was the co-host today on Busted Open Radio.
Oh
He
man,
sent,
shout out to Jonathan Hood.
yeah,
Man.
yeah. He sends his shouts to Grapsody. That was super dope. He was like, yeah, we got into Grapsody. Of course, that's super dope for him to get into that. And he was like, yeah, it's gonna be good for you, Reg, but I'm sure Phil is not gonna have the best time this basketball season with the Chicago Bulls. And I was like, you know what time it is, man. You out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Jay Hood is a Chicagoan. I just seen
Mm-hmm.
him at All Out a
Yep.
few weeks ago.
I met him.
Uh,
Shout out.
yeah, I seen him while I was on my way to the press scrum afterwards. And I've done an episode of his podcast before they changed the name to Good Karma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Jay Hood.
Yeah, super dope guy. But yeah, it's time. It's lit. Super dope. Everything has been very exciting this week. I stayed when I dropped the list this week. I stayed off of the internet. I let everybody
It's for the
cook.
best.
Everybody get their shit in, say whatever you want. I came in the next day and looked at only the good things because I don't know what people like the I don't social media, whatever this is created like that you have like I have to hate on your thing. You can hate on your thing all you want, but I don't have to read it. Like you could have fun like there's whatever you want about the list. I don't want you to like it, you to whatever, do whatever you want, but I don't have to read that shit. I can only go and read the good is what I did because that's what I can do. You know what I mean? Like I don't really understand this of like somebody on Reddit was like, "Well, you put this out," so but I'm not trying to fight with you, bro. Like this isn't about a fight. Like, well, you're mad because we disagree with your rankings. It ain't about the rankings, first of all. So I'm not mad about anything. I just want to like tell you what the list is really about. But I get it. Understand?
Listen, man.
Every time Nas put a new album out, they're like, "What about Illmatic?" You got to compare something to something. It always has to be something.
Listen, man. A guy curates a list to give exposure to certain wrestlers, to put the highlight on 500 black wrestlers. No, you're supposed to go and pick names from this that you haven't heard of, and go and look into these wrestlers that he's trying to highlight here. This doesn't mean, hey, but this guy's number one. Why is he number one? Or hey, why isn't my favorite wrestler number one? Like, they could do that with anything. I just think people need to chill out. But this is my list to discuss. This is your list. This is all you. I am essentially QT on Get Involved record. I don't. I like. It's like he's just basically there to hype up Sadiq. So this is just basically me doing. It's the REGIE. Yo, we trying to get involved with you. It's the REGIE. Yo, we trying to get involved with you.
That's hard. I might have to sample that.
Remix,
big dog.
This is your spotlight, man. So I mean, of course, number one on the list this year, well deserved, Brian Keith. How did you decide on Brian Keith?
I probably said on this podcast, like you could probably go back when I was like, number one has been decided. This was like months ago where I was like, yo, Brian Keith is that guy. Just seeing him live a bunch of times, up close and personal, and just experiencing that on that level, but then seeing everything like this guy's having 3 or 4 matches a week that are fire. I'm talking about like he has one super fire match where you're like, that's crazy. And then the next night, another one, then like This is, just consistently. And then everything else kind of surrounding it, Phil. Like he comes out to still tipping. He has the look with the
Culture.
cowboy hat. Like he's the Swisher House sponsored athlete. Like everything kind of surrounding it. And so the buzz was buzzing. It felt like the right time. You see what happened when he was on Rampage last night. People were like, sign Brian Keith, sign Brian Keith. It all felt like the right time. So I was like, yo, Brian Keith's going to be the one. Also, there was like a couple of other factors. Another kind of funny thing that people are saying too is like, he just, this list was just for all of his friends. He just like made this to put all of his friends on the list. So what the fuck if I did though? Like there's zero rules in this. Nobody's paying me to do this. When I started this list, nobody even cared. I'm not doing this for a publication. Like this is represented by me. If this is 500 of wrestlers that I just like, what? No, there's no rules to this. There's nobody. There's nothing. Like if I'm like, this is my favorite guy and this is my favorite guy, and yes, I can do that. That's what these rules are. This isn't a publication. This isn't some like thing to be. Everybody's debating it, but I didn't create it for you to debate. If I wanted to say here 500 of my favorite wrestlers, that's it. That's what it is. Because that's really what it is at the end of the day, dude. Who the fuck am I? I'm just one guy in the world that I can't say who's better than anybody. Oh, this guy's better than, but that's not even my place here. This is just like the rankings are just a little fun thing. But like I said, that's on the very bottom of importance when it comes to this list. Feel like I don't care about the rankings, man. They're just like, I debated so hard of like, I'm not even going to have rankings. Like I'm just going to put bullet points and it's just going to be, here's 500 wrestlers. Like here's 500 of them. You like them, but wrestlers were on me like, no, you have to, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. But people get so hung up on it, but I do not care about that at all. But yeah, Brian Keith, the one, had to be the guy. Like I said, for a while, it was a debate between him and Athena. Honestly, if like Athena was on the main roster and like just getting more opportunities to shine, she probably would have did it. But like just the consistency and different opponents that Brian Keith got to experience, because Athena was killing it a lot of times, but like a good chunk of those are squash matches, and that's like no fault of her own, but that's just like the situations and how it happens. So that kind of leads into it too.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer you can do the who am I thing. I mean, because you dropped this list and the entirety of the black wrestling internet sphere pays attention. So, I mean, this got you enough attention to get you over at PWI and, other things. So, I don't know how much longer you could be like, who am I? Like, and I've seen you at wrestling shows. This is the other funny thing. I've seen you at wrestling shows being hella mixy. Can't be like, nah, who am I?
Nah, Phil, you can't like me at a wrestling show. Like that's my favorite, man. I can't wait to mix it up, see some homies, see some people, do my thing. But yeah, I don't know. This is like honestly this is why I started all of this, was to get this. It's like I want to just be somebody out here. I want to make like what's my mark in the pro wrestling business if I just finish tomorrow? Like that's what people always ask me. Like, how do you get to PWI? How did you get to Grapsody? You have to have something that separates you from this, because everyone has a podcast, everyone's writing, everyone's an insider now on there. But what's going to separate me from all 500 of these other people? Well, I have a thing that's 500 people. There's none of those, anybody that you could say all your favorite people, but none of them have the BW500. That's my baby. And I'm the only one. People are asking, oh, how did this work? I'm the only one that looks at it. I'm the only one that has eyes on it. That's why the mistakes happen, because only my ass looks at it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people out here trying to be insiders, man. Some of y'all need to and go outside, man. Y'all need to turn into an outsider. Like, go outside some.
Turn into an outsider, because you don't even want this. It's not even the life you think that you want. It's just like it's not even fun anymore, because everybody's doing it. If you think you got a scoop, the 10 other people got that same scoop. It's not even like back in the day.
Nah,
it's boring.
People definitely want to get their tweets off and be like, I know this, or I want to be the first to put information out that's basically everywhere else.
Or I knew this. Like, okay, bro, like, what are you proving here? Like,
nothing.
Everybody knows everything.
Nothing.
Or nobody knows nothing.
I mean, it's closer to the latter. That a lot of people don't know nothing, but they want you to think that they know something and they don't. It's just a lot of that. But yeah, no, it's always dope to see the BW come out and seeing the response from the wrestlers. Seeing just like also seeing wrestlers that I hadn't heard of, and seeing like them pop up on the timeline and getting to see more of their content. I mean, immediately this week I didn't get to see all of Royal Quest yet, but boy, that guy Leon Slater, man,
brother, this little young dude. I call him that because he's 19 years old.
19 years
gets
old,
it already, man. The spring he has in his step, the way that he hits that Swanton 450, just the charisma that he has, honestly, stepping out. As soon as he enters the building, you're like, who's that guy? What is it about him? Why is he this? He just got it. And when you're this young and you get it, it's crazy.
Comes out there with the do-rag on. He just has this energy to him, man. He wrestled a tag match, of course, on Royal Quest with Cameron Kai, who was also dope. Pay attention to Cameron Kai as well. And they wrestled the War Dogs. Great tag match. Again, I haven't seen all of Royal Quest, but so far that's one of my favorite matches off the card. If you had to pick somebody off this year's list that you think is like underrated, quote unquote, that thing is thrown around a lot. A lot of people use the word underrated, but if you had to pick somebody that you think is underrated or doesn't have enough eyes on them, who would that be?
That's hard because there's a lot of them. On Busted Open Radio, I shouted out Jay Malachi. He's a young dude out of somewhere out there, North Carolina,
somewhere,
one of those areas. But yeah, he's a young guy. He wrestles for like Deadlock Pro Wrestling and a bunch of Northeast type feds, and he is just insanely talented. Kind of the same energy as Leon Slater, where he jumps out of the any place that he's in. It's like, how do you jump that high just like on a leapfrog or just like running the ropes? He's just a crazy different energy. You should definitely check him out. I know it's like he's pretty. I don't want to say he's underrated because he's kind of outside. He's been in MLW, but like Calvin Tankman, I just saw Tank at the last West Coast Pro Wrestling show, and it's like, Tank, dude, Tank has everything. He brings the energy when he's in the ring and the way he strikes, the way that he moves. It's like different than everybody else. You see a big guy and they probably like compare him like Keith Lee, but he's like so different than Keith Lee is, and the energy that he brings is unmatched. I like to say on the women's side, there's black women's wrestling is, when I first started this list, that was the hardest part, was finding black women's wrestlers. What was that? 2018. But the change that's happened since then, I know that Mercedes and Trinity and even Becky and Charlotte and although Bailey, all of them had a big influence on the crop of women wrestlers that have came out. There's so many great black women's wrestlers now. I mean, number 2 was a woman. Like I was saying, this is actually the first year in 3 years that a black woman wasn't number 1. So it's been like, they're always the fight again. And it was a fight between Athena and Brian Keith to be number 1. I'm like, they're always the fight to be number 1 just because of how talented they are. But shout out Holodead always. I don't know why she doesn't have a bigger spotlight out here everywhere. She seems like, I mean, I know they feel like probably the gimmick is something, but like she just makes it work even beyond that. Like, what was that match that where were we at? Texas? We saw her. Was that Dallas?
Mission Pro?
Yeah, that Mission Pro, just like the
way that Mephisto, right? Was it? Yeah, it was the hardcore match, or
right? The way that she moves and the way that she commands a room is like different than a lot of women's wrestlers. The homie Van Twinblade, he actually had a super chat that can go with this. So many clowns hating on Reg putting Brian Keith at number 1. But where was Tootie? Tootie was somewhere. I don't remember exact numbers, but yeah, Tootie Lynn, another super incredibly talented, underrated wrestler. that moment when she won that championship and everybody exploded was crazy. The company that she keeps is so great, but the charisma when she gets into a position that we can get behind her and the heart that she has, she's really going to take over the world. Tremendously talented person. There's a young woman named Mia Friday that's been taking over the world. She's really good at this. Charity Kane, also really good at this. Let me get into a couple more on the list to let you guys know. Um, of course, you could go to my Twitter X, whatever, to see the lists. If you can't see the list, there's been some people that are like, I can't read this, blah, blah. I will send you the list directly. I remember there was a year or so ago when I put out the list, there was a homie that was blind that was hitting me up saying that he needed a different accessible way of accessing it. I'll send you the list right directly to it if you're like the homie, because I want everybody to be able to see it. I just thought of the homie Ken Broadway. If you guys haven't seen Ken Broadway, he wrestles in like Hog Wrestling, places like that. I think he's in MLW actually too. Another guy that commands the room when you see him, but the way that he works, all these people are so different. That's what's great about the list, Phil. Is like you would think a lot of people think like black wrestler, there's one style. There's like Bobby Lashley, then there's like the Kofi Kingston. No, there's like a gazillion different styles out there.
Yeah, that's what I like about Holy Dead as well, because you don't see a lot of, well, not a lot of, you don't see any black women at the moment doing like a horror gimmick or doing something like that.
Right.
And she's just so unique. And there's so many different black wrestlers out there other than, what we usually see on TV. There's just such a vast variety of black wrestlers out there. It's way different than it was, say, like even 5 years ago.
Totally. Yep. And I think I'm telling you, it's that Mercedes and Trinity influence, because I see so many women's wrestlers, not just black women's wrestlers in general, that are like Sasha and Bailey at Brooklyn. Like, that's the reason why I'm here. And I'm like, that's so wild that
Crazy.
like one match can inspire a whole generation of new talented wrestlers. Like, I wonder, do they know like the importance of that match? I'm sure they do because they're told all the time, but like, yo, they like changed the world with that.
They did. Yeah, speaking of black women's wrestlers, shout out to our world champion, Trisha Dora, for a historic reign with Fight Club Pro as Pan-African World Diaspora Champion. She just lost that belt to Suge over the weekend.
Yep.
But 3-year plus run with that belt. She made that belt.
Yeah, shout out to Trisha Dora, former #1 in the BW500, because she carried that belt so proudly and took it all over the world pretty much and showcased how great that belt was. But yeah, shout out to Suge D, now the new Pan-African World Champion, and he's already going at it, taking this belt to exactly what I thought he was going to be, taking it out every show, every weekend. He already has a bunch of dope defenses lined up. And exactly what I thought that in this position somebody needed to do with the championship. That's exactly what Suge's going to do. He's going to be at every indie. He's going to be overseas with it. He's going to be promoting this belt how it was. And it's not the fault of Trish that she wasn't. It's just that, like, yo, she's pretty much signed. It feels like she's over there in Ring of Honor. She's doing things with AEW. Like, she's on the road with them. So she just doesn't have the much time as she should. And Suge's going to use his position to take that championship even higher. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, shout out to both of them. Shout out to Trish for having such a tremendous reign. Shout out to Suge for the win. Nothing but high hopes for both of them. I'm very much hoping that Trish, I'm sure she's on a tier deal, but I'm very much hoping that she gets more of a spotlight with Ring of Honor. She's doing great with the infantry, but I really want her to get that match with Athena eventually. I don't know who's going to challenge Athena at Final Battle, but I wouldn't be mad
maybe
if it was
like
Trish.
It's looking maybe like Billy Starks. I think that might be where the story is going, but
you think Billy's going to win?
It's what it's looking like. I mean, if you're setting up somebody to beat Athena, I think this is the best way. We're like really behind the story. We're really behind the thing. So I think Billy Starks, with the position that she in, how young she is, kind of how we've been getting behind her on her come up. Great story to tell, beating Athena.
Yeah, I'd be here for it. Uh, yeah. Speaking of women, we had another big list come out this week
We
in the
did.
PWI Women's 250.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of very talented women on there. I think the fact that this list went from it used to be 100 women's wrestlers, now it's 250,
Yep.
and there's the same thing we were just talking about with black wrestlers. There's such a wide variety of wrestlers on there. There's more of a spotlight for Joshi wrestlers on there. That's
Yep.
something I appreciate more. Um, yeah, it's dope to see such a great collection of women's wrestlers. Of course, number one on the list, controversial pick for some people, is Rhea Ripley. Number two was Julia. Well deserved. Julia had a fantastic year. World of Stardom champion, current Artist of Stardom champion, and
Mm-hmm.
New Japan Strong Women's champion. Uh, I was really surprised to see Jamie Hayter in the top five,
Yeah.
um, because she did have a momentous run getting to that women's title, but then she got hurt, and so I think
Mm-hmm.
some of that gets forgotten because I think some people forget like she was champion still at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was good to see her in there. I don't know if I agree in the top 10, but it is what it is.
Who would have
Bianca, of
been your
course, was
number one?
Bianca was number three. I've said multiple times I think Athena should have been number one.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of the fact that I feel like she's currently carrying Ring of Honor on her back. She
Mm-hmm.
wrestled every week on Ring of Honor, and if she doesn't wrestle, she's very present on the brand. She's the most visible champion on the brand. Um, I feel like also the way that first year under Tony Khan, FTR and the Briscoes was kind of like the defining feud for that year. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like for this year, the defining feud has been Willow and Athena by far, and
Right.
that's by far the best Ring of Honor pay per view match of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like I just feel like in terms of like her body of work, the amount of title defenses she's had, um, currently the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion, which I'm sure some people will be like, that's not a big stat because that belt's only been around since 2021. But if you know your history about Ring of Honor, it took a long time to get women's wrestling to the point that it is with Ring of Honor. Yeah, there's a
Right.
history of women's wrestling, but like when you get like the Women of Honor belt and this current Ring of Honor world title belt, um, it took a while to get to this point, and so it's kind of a huge deal that there's a woman right now that's kind of the face of the brand, and so I
Yep.
think that says a lot about what Athena is doing. And so for me, I think that she should be number one, and even if she's not number one on that list, I still think she is Women's Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, it's pretty far and away the work that she did. I was just talking about the work that the strongest thing I think that Athena has done is like at the end of her WWE run, they counted her out. Like they were saying that she was
Yeah,
washed essentially. And she came from that. And at the beginning of her AEW run, people weren't really feeling it. So she turned it up even more to show y'all, I'm not washed, dude. I am at better than I've ever been, honestly, if we're talking about
having
in
an
ring.
amazing year.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, Athena was number six on the list, which is respectable. I mean, even if she wasn't number one, I do believe she should be in the top five.
Yeah.
But of course, that's my opinion. Rounding out the top five was Tam Nakano, who has also had a phenomenal year. One of the, not even one of the first wrestlers since Mayu Watani to hold both the main Stardom belts, the Wonder and World of Stardom belt. And I thought like that would be enough to push her within the top three, because that's pretty historic. Nobody else has done that since 2017.
Right.
Um, I mean, you can make an argument for Julia being number one as well. Um, I don't know. I think the fact that you can make an argument for so many wrestlers to be in that top five is a good thing for women's wrestling. But I
Yeah.
think my biggest gripe with Rhea being number one is that I get that she's probably like the most popular in terms of like um, exposure because she's on wrestling for the biggest company in the world. She's constantly trending. She's constantly on TikTok and everything else. But like when you look at like the title defenses, the feud she's been in, they're not there. Like she
Mm-mm.
has only had like three pay-per-view matches this year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she was a part of one of the best women's matches of the year with Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Correct.
Yes, her Royal Rumble win was phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that she's deserving for a top spot on this list. But I think in terms of like some of the history that some of these other women have made and some of the work that they've put in, I don't agree with her being number one. But I mean, I think somebody else, I think it was Lyric that said it best when she was saying, I don't understand how you can come in last year and put Shuri number one in terms of like the title reign she was having and the incredible matches she was having, and then tell me that matches don't matter as much and exposure matters more. I'm like, yeah, if that's the case, then why was Shuri number one last year?
Yeah, I didn't work on the committee for the women's list, so I don't know the what went in behind it, but I know kind of what goes behind the list over at PWI. And yeah, it's just like Rhea's the biggest star out of all these people. She has 2 million TikTok followers, and every time she's on TV, everybody's like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and she's all over the shows, and she's a
mommy,
leader.
mommy, mommy.
She's on the leader of the Judgment Day, all the stuff. So I understand.
Yeah, I mean, also the top 10, Deanna Purrazzo was at 7. Willow Nightingale, who also had
mommy,
a pretty
mommy.
Willow Nightingale, who also had a pretty big year. Women's Owen Hart Cup winner, had that phenomenal match with Athena. Camille was at 9, had the historic NWA Women's Championship run, and Jordan rounded out the top 10. Yeah, I mean, there were other people I was kind of surprised that didn't crack the top 10. I think you could have made an argument for Jade to be in the top 10 as well. But again, like all of these things are subjective. I was glad to see some women's wrestlers end up on this list. I think people forgot the year that Saya Kamatani was having because of the injury.
Yeah.
But she's another one that could have easily ended up higher on the list. She ended up at 20. But she had a phenomenal year. Kyrie as well, IWGP Women's Champion.
Yep.
People forget that was this year. Wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom with Tam Nakano. Was a short match, but still historic wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
I have to wonder if Mercedes did not get hurt, how high she would have ended up on this list.
She would have been really high if she didn't get hurt. Like that affected her on all the lists. Like she probably would have been close to number one on my list if she didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? It's just like she had so much to go for. But the stuff that she did before that was like historic.
Yeah. But, again, of course, these lists are always going to bring the criticisms, but
of course.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Shout out to all the women that made it, because it is a big deal, and it is like I said, the fact that there are 250 women that you can list out is phenomenal.
Yep.
Shout out to everybody that was involved in putting the list together. Of course, shout out to everybody that made it. I think we have some super chats we can jump into.
Yeah, let's get into a couple of those. Our friend Bragov says, "Happy Saturday! Congrats on the BW500 Reg." Appreciate that, Bragov. It's been a very fun week with that. Everybody's been super dope. Wrestlers are really cool, man. I've been getting so many cool DMs of people just being like, "Thanks for including me." Seeing like legit inspirational messages of like, "I was down on myself. I was blah blah blah, but this makes me feel this way." It's like, this is what this is for, you guys. Will Chisholm says it's going to be nasty to see Punk walk up to the Impact Zone. LOL. Phil.
Don't you believe it, buddy? He is not going to be on Impact tonight, buddy.
But Phil, his friend, got a job there.
I'm not. No, no, stop it, guys. Stop it.
That's not enough for you.
No, it isn't. It is not.
People are really convinced, and there's been a couple of tweets of people that are a little bit closer to the inside than others, being like, "There's a big surprise tonight. We got this thing. We can't talk about it." They're saying all this, and it's like they're trying to create this buzz. And if you're going to create this buzz, you know what that brings. So you better have something big going on there. I am going to check out the Impact Wrestling show tonight, so we'll see.
Yeah. Should be a good show. We're going to get into that card in a little bit. But yeah, I don't think we'll see Punk.
Yeah. Would be very surprising. Deontay Soignier says, "All love, boys. Just finished a 4K brunch. I am tired, but never tired of wrestling. Bound for Glory tonight. New Japan and Stardom Tag League is starting. Everyone wants to kill MJF. He. I mean, damn, SmackDown was fire. I watched SmackDown last night.
Yeah. I thought both main roster shows were pretty good this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for them. Deontay also says, "Thank you for the list, Reg. Open my eyes to a few new peeps." That's what it's all about. Anytime somebody's like, "Oh, I didn't know about blah blah blah," you were good here. But if you say, "Why was Bobby Lashley?" If you say, "Why was insert wrestler that's been on WrestleMania?" I instantly stop listening to you. Then Twinblade says, "My Saturday is get 'em Tank. My Sunday boo Tank." Oh, me Saturday, get him Tank. Me Sunday, boo Tank. Tank's the man. Shanika, shout out to Shanika. She hasn't been in the chat like this in a while. Congrats and thanks for the list. Can't wait to dig in.
Appreciate
And then Deontay also says Tam made the top 5 years ago. She wasn't the biggest name, and now she's one of the best. Love to see my Tam be here.
Yeah, shout out to Tam Nakano. Huge year for her. Like I said, holding both main belts this year, getting that big win over Julia, um, winning that white belt back again. Know how
Yep.
much the white belt means to her. Also wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
Hate that match was as short as it was, but again, got to wrestle at the Tokyo Dome. Huge deal.
Yeah, it probably was unfortunate for them for the time too, but they're like, yo, Tokyo Dome, if we got 2 minutes in here, we gonna take it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on this year. It doesn't sound like there's going to be an IWGP Women's Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom in 2024. I'm not sure why.
Right, because it looks like they're doing that. They're doing like a pre-show, Stardom pre-show or something before it.
They're doing a Stardom show that same week. I think it's the same day actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really understand it. You created this belt so that you have it as a part of your programming and to put a spotlight on women's wrestling. What are we doing? Like
The big show, you would think they would have it here. It feels like more like a New Japan Strong belt, like they're having it defended next week and they're in Vegas having a big show. So it feels like that's more what it's for. But like, yo, you can make one spot. If you're going to give them 5 minutes again, like at least give them that on Wrestle Kingdom. Just feels fitting.
But I mean, you have a New Japan Strong belt.
Yeah, also.
I don't really understand, but
politics. The funny politics that I've seen this week are same along the lines of CM Punk of Will Ospreay saying that he will potentially sign with Impact Wrestling. Will Ospreay, why are you out here capping, big dog? Don't nobody believe you for one goddamn second. I don't know why you're saying this. It's hella funny, but what are you saying? Why are you saying this?
I don't believe you, bro. I don't believe you.
Nobody believes you.
I don't believe you.
I see you're having a good time over there, and this match tonight is gonna cook. But like, bro, I don't believe you.
That all of our super chats?
Yeah, for now.
Let's see if we have any Humper chats. I'm sure we do. Let's see, from our guy Tony P. He says, work at work, so a bunch of randomness. Petty of the week, fans bitching about a wrestler, ignoring your wife, kind of insulting her too in the process. He wild. Lucky Cody was nice and didn't give the Glenn treatment. Yeah, that tweet was wild. I didn't know what to make of that. Yeah, that was really weird. Wrestling fans, just stop being weird. Guys.
Chill, man.
Just chill out, man. Stop being weird, man. Cody is one of those guys that I don't think he would intentionally ignore a fan that's front row because he cares about the way he comes off. So I just don't see him doing that.
You trying to make Cody look a type of way? No, you can't, dude. Not like, oh, Cody ignored. No, as soon as you say Cody ignored, no, I don't believe you. It's Cody. He's not gonna ignore anybody, especially on purpose. He's just gonna like miss it. But like, don't try to bring it to the timeline because Cody's gonna say something about it, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the point of that, but wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Also from Tony P. That Sting fan. How he became out of breath in 20 seconds. So bitching about that ham being empty. Then you have ones showing that they're racist because a general statement about racism by a black woman. I didn't see any of this. Glad I didn't.
I don't know what
I
that
tried
is.
to check out of all of the Twitter nonsense.
Thank you.
He finishes with proceeds to rant about how they're not racist. Then then proceeds to say racist shit, proving the general idea behind her statement, which guys had said was true. Mercedes fan trying to tell her what happened to her. Uh,
I don't know
she
what this
aired
is.
man out for telling her he knew her business. Fans starting up with Hangman Punk debates. He is fired. He has moved on. Do the same. Can't if you can't get a car, can't afford one, get a bus pass, just move your asses on. Then, then me being petty with the list. So Rhea's number one and Athena is where. I know all of this is fake on their part, but they doing rankings as good as UFC and AEW. However, I am still curious about something. Uh, Reg, can you get someone from PWI to come on to fully explain the list, scoring in depth, like what is the categories or values higher than others? Is match quality is as important when factoring the amount of time they've wrestled? Yeah, they put out their criteria every year, so it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I could probably get Kevin on here, the editor in chief over there, to explain himself on both lists.
Explain yourself, Kevin.
Explain yourself.
Explain yourself. It also says that how much popularity is valued over those. Just pure curiosity. Oh, and Reg, can you explain what was the factor that made Keith number one? Oh, we got into that. Over Athena before she kills you. Also, it's just me, or does the Callis family versus the United Empire? I thought about this week. Is Will gonna eventually splinter off? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Of course, the thing he was talking about in the midst of that was the clip of Mercedes at New York Comic Con. That guy. First of all, you're not supposed to be recording when you go to somebody's table for a signing. They tell you all the time, do not take pictures. Put your camera away when you come up. And so somebody recorded this clip of this guy telling Mercedes, "Oh, you left because you didn't like creative," and she immediately checked this guy and I mean roasted him without even an afterthought. Like, I think my favorite part of it is she starts signing an autograph and just stops in mid thing. It's just like, "No, how do you know that?" And just like the look on her face and everything, and she's just like, "So you'll wait, right? You'll just wait.
Yeah.
You'll just wait, right? Okay, thank you."
Same exact energy that Edge had when, or Adam Copeland had when Ricky Starks fried him last week. Yeah, same exact energy. He's like, "Oh, this is." I think he struck a nerve with this.
That was a very interesting exchange. I did not imagine that either of these guys would be really mad about it, but I was looking at it like, oh man. Like, it was a certain part of it that looked like Edge was annoyed. And I was like,
yeah.
All right.
When you get a little bit of context and you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, he looks a little bit over the edge, as Ricky Stark said.
But yeah, no, that clip was very funny of Mercedes, her telling him towards the end of it, go, keep reading your fiction books, right?
Nah, Mercedes was peeved, but also very correct. Like, you don't really know, dude. Why
you don't know nothing?
What is this conversation starter? Why are you bringing this energy, dude? Do you want an autograph? Yes or no?
Yeah, that was very strange. But yeah, getting cooked by Mercedes in a Woody cosplay is hilarious. I'm sorry, it's just really funny. Like getting cooked by her, and she just has this look on her face with this big cowboy hat on. Very funny.
And dude, you paid to be here, dude. These ticket get an autograph lines aren't free or cheap, dude. What are you doing?
No, they are definitely not cheap. I saw people complain about that as well. Like the price to get an autograph, and I'm like, bro, how many conventions have y'all been to? Like, that's what I'm saying. This is usually standard at conventions. They set
like, that didn't even look like anything to me. I was like, oh, that's a regular convention price.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, that clip gave me endless entertainment. But yeah, let this be a lesson to some fans. It's okay to mind your own business, man.
Totally. Mercedes don't like people playing on her name, as you can see.
Stop playing on my phone, man. Mercedes is definitely
keep reading your fiction books is hella funny.
Yeah, Mercedes is definitely one of those people that will not hesitate to fry you right on up and finish signing your autograph because and give you your autograph and give you what you want. But
you paid for this.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Very funny. Our last Humper chat from Van Twinblade. He says, "Real talk, Reg. Leaf brought out the most head up ass takes I've seen in IWC. Someone on Reddit actually called Def and Freelance fourth tier promotions and AEW is second tier. Total Fed Mark shit. Goddamn. I didn't see any of this because I stay off of Reddit. But I don't know.
I told somebody on Reddit, this is a list of best black wrestlers, not the list of wrestlers that you know.
Oh, I forgot.
Who's Brian Keith? I don't know him. Like, I don't. It's not about who you know.
That's the point, my guy.
And that is exactly. Oh my God, people do not understand. I'm like, your question is exactly the point of this. Who is Brian Keith? Exactly. Fucking find out.
That's the whole point.
Oh God.
But yeah, I forgot you'd be on these Reddit streets.
I do. I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be.
I forgot you'd be on these Reddit streets. I can't join you out there, man. It's like the Wild Wild West over there.
They be talking crazy. Anytime somebody talking crazy, I at least have to be like, okay, I see you're talking crazy, but here's the facts. You can continue to talk crazy because I know you are, but here's what it is.
Yeah, I try to stay away.
I try so hard.
I can't do it, man. That was all our Humper chats. As we said earlier, we do have pay-per-view tonight. We got a lot of wrestling tonight, actually.
Oh yeah.
Because we got a Collision. Mm-hmm. We also have Battle of the Belts tonight. Battle of the Belts 8.
Oh, that's right. Back to backs.
Yeah. So, but pay-per-view weekend for Impact Wrestling. Mm-hmm. We have Bound for Glory coming live from Chicago, Illinois, Cicero Stadium. I will not be there because these guys sold out their show. I waited too long to get a ticket, so I will not be there, but I will be watching.
See, you tripping me. A brother like me is pulling up to the arena saying, "What's up? What time it is? Let me up in here." Grapsody, baby. I work for Grapsody. I work for Fightful. That's all you got to say. You just got to say is that way. Yo, Fightful Network. What's up, Brick Bro?
Let me in here. It's hilarious.
It's me.
Let me in here.
Got to have confidence.
Let me in here. It's hilarious. But yeah. Should be a great show. They also have some shows going on tomorrow in Chicago.
Yeah.
I believe already they have Ospreay lined up for a match on that show. Mm-hmm. Got a lot of lucha wrestlers lined up for that show. So that also should be a good card. All right, but getting into Bound for Glory. Usually it's one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year. And usually Impact delivers when it comes to their pay-per-views. And this card, top to bottom, looks really, really good. Mm-hmm. Got Chris Sabin taking on Kenta for the Impact X Division champion.
Off rip. It's like, yo, hold on a second. What?
Chris Sabin is a legend. I have no doubt that, he's going to get a good match out of this. Kenta's also a legend. I know people are like, Kenta's not Kenta the way he was, but I still think this match is going to be good. Yeah. We've got MK Ultra came up, Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich taking on Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz for the Impact Knockout World Tag Team Championship. I like this team of Deonna and Tasha. I think they're a fun team, but man, MK Ultra, man, I think they're going to retain here. I think they're a fire tag team. I think their feud together that turned into them becoming a tag team was one of the coolest things this year with Impact. So looking for them to retain.
Yeah, I kind of want them to have these championships for a long time just because both of those wrestlers individually and together are incredible. Just like you said, them turning from a feud into this incredible tag team and having these knockout championships is great. Deonna and Tasha are great wrestlers, amazing. Mm-hmm. But what MK are doing right now, like, we got to see more of this.
Yeah, I agree. Got the Rascals, the reunited Rascals, Trey McGinnis, Zachary Wentz taking on ABC.
This match,
Ace Austin and Chris Bay for the tag team titles. Very excited for this. This match is going to cook. Very much looking forward to this. This feels like a IWGP junior tag team.
It does
for sure. This is gonna be killer. Looking forward to this one.
This is one of those big balls to the wall, like classic Impact X Division. Everybody's going 100 miles per hour. Chris Bay and Ace Austin have been so fire for so long, cooking on Impact, and having the Rascals back together. I think they're doing the 3-man Rascals tomorrow, is like fire. Shout out to Myron Reed, who was featured
Yeah.
on AEW TV this week and Ring of Honor TV this week. That's the homie. Also one to look out from the BW500.
Shout out to the young goat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe this is a feast or fired match as well, which is kind of a confusing
What?
stipulation. It's a feast or fired match.
Which matches?
The tag match.
What?
I believe it's for this is let me look this up to make sure, but I believe this is a feast or fired match. Feast or fire match is a concept match for Impact Wrestling. The idea is based on object on a pole match, and it usually has a briefcase. And a briefcase, if you guys remember, has the pink slip in it. Kind of a confusing stipulation, but should be a great match.
I'm like, who's about to get the pink slip? I'm confused as hell.
Never change Impact Wrestling. I do think ABC is going to regain the belts tonight. At least that's what I'm thinking.
So Trey and Zach are, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We shall see. We've got PCO versus Rhino versus Steve Macklin versus Moose in a Monsters Ball match. Very Impact match.
Yes. When you went through those names, I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
People are upset that I left Moose off. I forgot about Moose. The issue is that Moose has me blocked, so I legit like his name never even crosses my mind. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually wrong. Someone is saying that it is Chris Bay is cashing in his briefcase.
Okay.
It's not a feast or fire match. It's him cashing in his briefcase from the feast or fire match.
Gotcha.
Sorry for the confusion,
like,
guys.
Whoa, who's about to be feast or fired?
But yeah, PCO versus Rhino versus Steve Macklin versus Moose in a Monster Ball match could be a lot of fun.
I'm guessing Steve Macklin comes out on the end of this. Maybe Moose. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It'll be a plunder match. That'll be good. Monsters Ball.
Big plunder. We've also got the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. We've got for the Impact Knockouts champion Trinity versus Mickie James. Definitely one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most on this card. They've been doing a lot of the promotion for this show. They were just here in Chicago at NBC, being interviewed by the homie DS. I've seen them doing other interviews this week, including Busted Open. Really excited for this. I think Mickie James has said for a while that she wanted to match with Trinity, and so it made the most sense as soon as Mickie James came back that's where we were going with this.
Right.
I think you could easily stretch this into a multi-match feud if they want it.
We got to continue the Trinity train at this point, right? Like this just chugging along pretty well. This is just another match kind of to add to her resume of, Trinity's really out here. Y'all was sleeping on her. She's cooking. Now she's about to be in there with Queen, Mickie, and this is how you do it. But yeah, I think they could definitely stretch this out. But Impact is so strong and rich with women's wrestlers that like anything could be anything.
Yeah. I definitely agree that Trinity's probably going to retain here, but I definitely think you can stretch this and get maybe 2 matches out of this, 2-3 matches. One of the biggest matches of this weekend, definitely the draw for this show for a lot of people. Will Ospreay versus Mike Bailey. This match is going to be amazing. Definitely one of the main reasons I'm looking forward to this show. One of the reasons that I am kind of tight that I'm not going to the show because I want to see this match in person. But yeah, this is going to cook.
Yeah, the who many consider the best mainstream wrestler in the world, and Will Ospreay against who many consider to be the best independent / I don't know what you call Impact wrestler, and Mike Bailey. This is the showdown. These guys, Will Ospreay has, I think they said this is his 30th 5-star match that he just had with Zack Sabre Jr. He has him on a weekly basis now. Has him almost on a daily basis. Putting that together with Mike Bailey, who also does the same thing, this has the recipe to cook everything on this card. I'm sorry for all the other matches there, but you better work hard because these guys are about to go crazy.
Yes. Also, could end up being match of the night. The Impact World Championship match. Alex Shelley taking on Josh Alexander, returning Josh Alexander after he came back from an injury earlier this year.
And he want that belt back bad.
Yeah, Alex Shelley, of course, came behind and finished the story and won the Impact World Championship. Very much looking forward to this match as well. I think it's going to be, like I said, one of the best matches on the card.
Yeah, I think Josh Alexander might do it, man. He's been craving. He should have continued being the champion, but this unfortunate injury kind of happened. We got a great story being told with Alex Shelley, lifelong, it feels, Impact wrestler, finishing the story and becoming the Impact World Champion. But it's Josh Alexander's time, man. He was the leader and the head of this brand for a long time, and I think he wants to continue that. And him winning this and tomorrow, I think he is the match with Will Ospreay maybe tomorrow, and him being Impact World Champion against Will Ospreay tomorrow. It's just a big deal. So I think Josh Alexander at the end of the night could end up being the Impact World Champion and facing off with CM Punk at the end of the night when he comes.
Stop this, man. Stop it. Stop this nonsense, man. Stop it. Stop.
Dude, they 1000% couldn't afford Cult of Personality. Like, it's definitely gonna be.
He's coming out to Fire Burns.
They can't afford that either.
You know how
about to get one of them Impact remixes.
You know how wild that would be if Josh Alexander gets this win and then afterwards all we hear
People would go pretty nuts. And Philip Lindsay is saying that it couldn't happen, but he'd be Impact #1 fan with the Impact flag waving it back and forth if it did happen.
No, I don't see this happening. Don't see this happening at all. But yeah, of course, Josh Alexander had a 300-day plus reign before he had that injury and was forced to vacate the belt. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, stopped a really, really good run with the belt. So I could definitely see him winning the belt back tonight. I wouldn't be mad either way. I wouldn't be mad at Shelley keeping the belt, but I do think that Alexander is going to win the belt back.
Yeah, Alex Shelley continuing this story would be dope because he's incredible. And I think the run that he's been having has been just kind of like satisfying. Like, he's been kind of holding the flag for Impact for a long time. He was out of wrestling for a while, came back just as good, and has been a strong Impact World Champion. But Josh Alexander's the guy. He's the brand of Impact, and he's got to get his belt back. I want my belt back.
So are you saying that even in these darkest days, the fire burns always for Josh Alexander?
Some would say. Nah, he can't. That's it.
I really wish people would stop
this.
This
Can't.
This is not happening. When people put out that quote from Ibu and they were like, they offered him a contract, I was like, guys, stop this, man. And then, of course, the next day, the PW Insider report came out that Ace is working as a producer for this show. And I think in that same report, they were saying that Ace they came to Ace with a job offer before he went to AEW. Mm-hmm. And so this is just, this just made sense for him to end up going back to Impact afterwards. And I mean, of course, there's the other connection that while he was injured, Punk did show up at the Impact show earlier this year, mm-hmm. and he was backstage.
Plan Uno.
I don't think that means he's going to be there. I just maybe he'll be backstage again. I don't know, but I don't think that means he's.
How long has it been? When did he say that 2 months thing at the that MMA show? Was that 2 months ago? I'm just trying to connect the dots together. That's it. That's all. Maybe one, like if it did happen, one appearance, but he's not like gonna be an Impact wrestler.
No,
and like, why would they even do that? That wouldn't even make sense. So I just can't see it. But what else would be the big Impact surprise? Like, who else could? Like, why would they be saying this?
Oh, that's right. They did say there's going to be a big surprise tonight. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be CM Punk. I think that they very much think that people want to see CM Punk. But this is what's so wild about CM Punk and wrestling at the moment. You have some people that are like, this guy is not, relevant anymore. People don't want to see him anymore. But at the same time, you have hype around two wrestling promotions possibly bringing this guy in. There's still such a big outcry for this guy to wrestle again, even after everything that happened to AEW. It's really wild when you think about it. The fact that this guy continues to be one of the most talked about wrestlers in the world.
I mean, the biggest company in the game had to be like, you guys, no, they had to say something about it so their show doesn't get hijacked. But also, this guy is not a needle mover. Nobody cares about him. I'm like, wait, why are they doing this preemptive strike if nobody cares about him? Looks like some people, I think, care about him.
Yeah, I never bought that whole he's not a needle mover thing. Like,
right.
And he hasn't said a word. He is just going about his business, doing his MMA commentary, but still one of the most talked about guys in the entire industry. Wild. That is a good shout, Orion. Maybe Sue Young is going to return. She has been tweeting more.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Impact. That's going to be a really good show tonight. Great card. They're going to execute. Like you said, they're always really great with pay-per-views. Like, one thing you can't take away from them, when it's bell time, it's pay-per-view time, they're going to kill it. I'm looking forward to all those matches today. On the other side, I laughed really hard watching Rampage last night and them announcing that on Collision tonight, FTR is going to be in action. I'm like, what? I thought this guy was injured. Why are you guys going to be in action? Whatever. I don't know what's going on here, Phil. Whatever story y'all are telling, I don't like.
It's so weird, isn't it? And then on the other side of that, since the Bucks won that number one contenders match at Wrestle Dream, they haven't wrestled much on
nowhere to be found. Yeah,
I don't know what's happening here, man. I don't really get it.
I'm so confused. Okay, so FTR, the Young Bucks win the match, and we all think that they're gonna face FTR Full Gear. Then FTR somehow loses their championships in a damn squash match to Ricky Starks and Big Bill. So that leads us to believe that Cash is injured, and everybody's saying Cash is injured. Then a story comes out that they weren't injured and they actually been wanting to do this. They said that this was the plan all along, wasn't? And now they are not injured. They're right because they're going to be on the show tonight wrestling. I'm hella confused. If you don't want to put over the Young Bucks, just say that. I think.
I don't think that that's what it is, personally. I don't know what else it is, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that they don't want to put the Bucks over, man. I just think
it just looks crazy. It's all
everything around it is just so confusing. But I definitely think Cash was injured because even the way that they staged the match led you to believe that he was injured because he was out of the match very early.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe the injury wasn't as serious as they originally suspected. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's all very confusing to me. It all looks the type of way, but it all could just be like coincidences that keep coincidentally happening back to back.
I don't know, man.
Okay, yeah, but alongside of Collision, how did you feel about Tony Khan yesterday tweeted that AEW, he was going to announce a dream match that got people up in arms. And then they announced the match as being Andrade is going to take on Bryan Danielson tonight on Collision. Do you think expectations were too high? This is a dream match and this match is going to bang. But should Tony Khan stop doing that type of thing?
No, he's a promoter. That's what promoters do.
Exactly.
So he's not going to stop doing that.
No.
I think this match sounds fire. Andrade is Andrade, and we know what Bryan does. If your whole point is trying to make the case that Collision is Bryan's show now, then yeah, you're gonna do the big matches like this,
and you're gonna say that it's a big match too, right?
Yeah, and I know I've seen people saying, "All right, but it's not a big match yet." I think in terms of like in ring, it's gonna deliver.
It's a big match.
Both of these guys can deliver. I've also seen people saying it's not a dream match if these guys have wrestled somewhere else already. No. All right, then what is a dream match? Because WWE promoted Shinsuke versus AJ as a dream match. Those guys wrestled in New Japan. So
we just watched with the same guy, Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. was billed as a dream match of two guys that have wrestled before. So I mean, like, where's the line, you guys?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get into technicalities that, okay, these guys have wrestled somewhere before, so it can't be a dream match. If that's the case, then you're gonna be saying other things in that dream matches as well.
Somebody just I don't know whose tweet it was. They were like, "Oh, so that means like Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega 2 is not a dream match. Like they wrestled before, but that's a dream for me. I'm trying to see that match bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely
where is the line? Where's the line?
I don't know. I think people take a lot of stuff too seriously. Yeah. That's the line for me.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And then at the end of the show, we're about to see a dope ass match. It's like beyond all this drama, beyond all what y'all saying, we still get to see Bryan Danielson and Andrade wrestle. So that's all I care about.
Yeah. But yeah, that is Bound for Glory. Should be a great show. If you want to watch it, I believe you can watch it on YouTube as well as Fight. Of course, you have to pay for it on both. So don't think that this is not a pay-per-view. It is a pay-per-view. You do have to pay for it. But yeah, pay for your wrestling. That's the other thing I keep telling people. Like, don't do this whole, oh, where's the show? It's there. Oh, you got to pay for it? Yes, you do.
None of these shows are free. Why do people say that every time?
Yeah, I see people doing that with Royal Quest. With like, oh, where is it before it's on New Japan World? Oh, they're gonna put it on New Japan World later, but before that, you can watch it on Rev Pros on demand. Oh, you gotta pay for another streaming platform? Yeah, yes, you do.
That's what happens. That's what somebody has to make money out here. All these shows ain't free.
No,
these shows ain't free. We got a couple super chats before we move forward. Will Chisholm says, it is funny how Vince McMahon got played off his job. That man gave up his company so he can be the booker again, and now he's ass out. Triple H is like, hey, Dad, I didn't know that was going to happen. LOL.
Yeah, it is very interesting that it seemed like for the longest with the Cell stuff, what we kept hearing is that they didn't want to get with anybody that saw him as a deal breaker. Anybody that they did business with felt like Vince McMahon had to be a big part of the deal. He had to be a part of the package. And at first, they were saying all the right things, that they bought the company because they wanted to work with Vince. And boy, as soon as they got in there, they did the old switcheroo on him, did the old bait and switch on him. And
they paraded this man out like a mascot. They're like, yeah, dude, that's Vince McMahon, WWE.
Had him out there with the tan and the Gomez mustache. Like, and they were like, psych, that's a wrong number. Which, speaking of, if you don't know what that is reference to, shout out to the man Super High Flyer, who is back out here doing YouTube videos.
With Gilbert Arenas, that's crazy.
That was not on my checklist for 2023. That Super High Flyer would be back out here doing.
That's the wrong number.
Doing the YouTube videos. But Battle Gilbert Arenas, very funny as usual.
Yeah.
Glasses, jacket, shirt, man, is back out here in these streets
forever.
Ending man's whole entire careers.
We need Mute Spitter back. That was my
Mute
favorite,
Spitter, mute. Classic YouTube content, man. Very happy to see my man back out here, but I'm not a rapper. Spitting high fire on you.
Super dope. It's crazy that like he took such a long break during like this super like everything goes viral period, because like he was so, it was like, man, you should have been cooking this whole time. But I understand, man, the game's crazy.
Yeah, I just, every time I hear Rick Ross, MC Hammer, I immediately think of Super Hot Fire. Like, there's no fail. Every time I hear that record, I'm just like, man, Super Hot Fire.
Did you hear, speaking of Rick Ross, did you hear that the new record of him and Meek over that the Hove sample?
I didn't.
It's pretty crazy. You should listen to it. Like, these guys, I guess they're putting out a project together, Meek and Rick Ross, rhyming over the Hove record from the end of Blueprint, when you think the song's over, but it comes back. One, breathe easy. They rap over that sample. Yeah, lyrical exercise. They rap over that, and it's hard.
Get your weight up.
Check that out. But yeah, they
Diesel when I list the 8 up. Come on, man.
Shout out to Hove, man. But yeah, they tricked us with Vince. It's funny because I always thought that was his thing. Like he's done that to people coming up. Like he's swindled and tricked people into being in positions and then it actually being this. But it finally happened to him. That's how you know He finally is an old man, Phil. They finally got his ass.
Got outslined, bro. Just seeing the way that I described it on Patreon is exactly what happened. My man Emmanuel came in and made the corporate ministry, and then he pulled back hood and was like, "Nah, it was me all along. Get out of here."
Vince was like, "They're really trying to get me out of here with these court cases and all this," and Ari's like, "Yeah, they are trying to get you out of here." Smiley says, "Afternoon, boys. Just stopped by to say hi. Hope you are having a great Saturday. I'm gonna get up and go get a drink. Also, hello, Reggie. Shout out to Tracy. Hello, friend. Hope you're having a good Saturday out there.
Really early to be drinking.
It's hella early out here." Orion Ben 666 says, "Mad about lists. Make your own. I appreciate the effort that Reg put in the BW500 and PWI had with the ladies 250. Congrats to the listed and good luck to all." Yes, that's what I always say at the end of it when people are yelling at me. I'm like, you have the same exact resources that I have. Google, going out to shows, talking to wrestlers, being outside. You could do this whole thing. You can make a list of the 1,000 black wrestlers to outshine me. It's all out there for you to do.
Make your own list, man. It's all right. Make your own.
Easy. Anwar Starwin, our friend, says, "I'm waiting for the day Brian Keith puts a bounty on Tomohiro Ishii. Keep up the good work." Appreciate that. Leonard Aaron III says, "Ospreay upcoming slate is ridiculous. Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, maybe, and Shuda in 2 weeks, and probably Mox at the Dome."
Wow, man. Mox at the Dome would be kind of dope.
That
I was there
for
for his match with Mox here in Chicago for the New Japan Strong show. Very good match. Very, very good match. But it's Will Ospreay. That guy don't miss.
Yeah, he gonna have bangers with all those people. Van Twinblay says, "The surprise. Phil Lindsay cost Josh Alexander the belt."
Nah, man. You know how hilarious that would be if they like cut to the crowd and it's like somebody with like a mask on holding up a boombox just playing Cult of Personality. And it's just me. They're on the mask down. "Oh my God, it's Phil Lindsay." Again, low blows him.
Please do this. I didn't know you were down like that.
And then afterwards, Josh loses, and then I do like the whole Kevin Nash like points at the screen.
I don't know why you booked yourself into this, but now I want to see it. I'm gonna be disappointed at the end of the show.
Nah,
man, said a boombox playing Cult of Personality. It's crazy outside.
I think that's the only way we're getting Cult of Personality at this show.
The only way, yeah. Phil hijacks the show and plays it on his own boombox.
Gets no pop like Sean Ross. just boombox up. Who is this guy?
Turn that music off, bro.
Turn that off, man. My man Ross comes behind and tries to like snag me off of a guardrail. Like, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
I bet he would. He really would. Will Chisholm says, "It feels like everybody is working with Stardom now. Why not AEW? Who's got heat with and who's got heat with who? It's weird."
I don't know. No.
Could be anybody. Tony P says, "Warning, the internet at my job sucks and my humpers may be spaced out. They were supposed to be together."
Yeah, I think they were all together.
Yeah. And that's it for the supers.
Nah, listen, man. He popping up at the show in a shiesty center. I'm not trying to be out on the west side by Cicero Stadium in a shiesty.
I would not recommend. 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
That sounds crazy, man.
It's a bunch of niggas out there that right now that look like that for sure.
It's getting towards the season, man. It's getting cold
Robin
out,
season.
man.
Yeah,
Robin season is coming, man.
Damn, man.
That's why I'm like, you gotta be careful out here, man.
Cold world, man. I need to be with you. You can't be robbing me. Like I need to be robbing niggas too. I'm broke.
I do not need.
What the fuck you think you about to get from me?
I do not need to be out here with you. I'm not. We gotta find another way. We gotta find another way, buddy. Uh, from from Hanlon Razor, he says, "Big ups to Trish, rapper in DC with the title reign. Hell of a match to see live. I remember last time AEW came through the town, she got a bigger pop than Taya Valkyrie. Thank you to Trish, and long live Mumbo King, Shug D." That's dope. Yeah, I really hope that they see how special Trish is and they understand who they have over in Ring of Honor.
It felt like they were for a couple weeks. Like stuff was cooking when she did the New Japan school and everything, and then it just kind of faded away. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Let's see, from Black Phoenix brand, happy Grapsody Day. A few things. The Drake album was the first time I legit felt like music passed me by. Clearly wasn't for me. The Pizza Hut ads from Fastlane actually made me order Pizza Hut. More iconic Nate verse. Ain't no fun or explosive. That's tough, man.
It's gotta be. Ain't no fun.
Yeah, I was about to say ain't no fun as well. Yeah, nah. Some of the wildest things for an R&B guy to sing on a record.
Right. Yes. That was like the first time I remember hearing a song like playing in the car with my mom and being like, I should not be listening to this. Even though my parental guidance is here, I still shouldn't be listening to this. This is crazy.
Wild lyrics to just to put a melody to, bro.
I'm saying
wild lyrics to put a melody
to. Nate Dogg, man. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, and look, I understand people that are like the Drake album ain't for me. I enjoy bits of it. I still think that it's aged better the more I've listened to it. I've told my co-host that I'm not going for any Donnie slander. Donnie got off on that freestyle, man. Let second generation Donis Graham get his shit off, man.
Here we go. I told you. They got ghostwriters in here. He couldn't buy his son a verse, Phil. Come on.
Nah, he's
one verse.
Listen, man. He
Quavo's in here. Travis Scott, like all these people are in here. Get your son a verse, yo. Here,
nah, man. He basically told him, nah, Hove did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that, man. Like, nah, they tried to get me out of here for ghostwriters. I'm letting you be authentic, my guy. Like, nah, don't do that.
Okay, respect. So that's how they try to get me out of here, Donnie. You're gonna have to go in there and spit off the dome.
Nah, you're gonna have to go off the dome, bro. And listen, man, like I said, I ain't no Donnie, man. Donnie was in his bag.
Sending your son in the freestyle is crazy.
Donnie was in his bag. Had all his little boys out there. They did the basketball joint like his dad did with the Best I Ever Had video. Nah, man. Donnie's living his best life, man.
Now, like I said, people were mad at me for my little tweet. I'm like, Donnie's he's living 20 lives better. Like, I will never be able to catch up to him, and he's 6. Like, he's not worried about it at all. His feet are kicked up on an island somewhere right now. He's fine. My weak ass takes don't mean nothing to him.
He is not worried about anybody's takes on Twitter. That picture he has online of him walking into the room with his dad, and he's got like the leather jacket on, and he looks hella icy. Yeah. He's looking back at his dad like, "Come on, man, we missing the game." Bro. This guy is sitting courtside with his dad.
He's there already,
man. I look, man, and I also think the funniest thing about all of this when you were like bringing bullying back, I was like, no. Bullying worked because bullying got this guy to be a better dad. So
bullying is the reason we got this.
Thank Pusha T that now we have Donis out here giving his freestyles to the world, man.
Now Donnie's about to put out an album. Shout out to Pusha T. I mean, you made this fool be a dad. Like he had the potential to be a deadbeat, and you forced him not to be.
Still one of the wildest this lines ever, man. You are hiding the son, let the boy come home.
That is crazy. You are hiding a child is like on the spear of the crazy diss lines that we've heard. Like we've heard people say, I've had sex with your wife. We've heard people say that the kid is not yours and stuff, but like you're hiding a child, the biggest rapper in the world, and it's not a lie, like it's real. He actually was hiding a child. It's like, I don't know if you could do that, but he did that.
Nah, man. Deadbeat motherfucker playing Border Patrol. Yeah.
Yeah. This was cold. I know. I see why it's still like Drake is like, no, it's forever, bro. Did you hear that song?
No, he not gonna ever let that go.
No,
and honestly, I don't blame him because
I wouldn't either.
Because as soon as I heard that story of Adi Don, I was like, all right, man, look, he might have to snuff this dude, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm not one to be running out here and advocating for violence, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, nah, man, he might have to snuff this dude.
He is exposed. He exposed that he had a whole kid, and that wasn't even the wildest part of the whole song. So that's how you know this man was wilding. Like his best friend, he said, was on like what he said about his best friend and engineer. Like we're fighting. Like no, I don't. Ain't no diss track. I'm not about to rap, dude. Meet me on the corner of 36 and 8 so we can get these hands together.
Telling this man that your dad was a deadbeat and he didn't love you, and that's why you're a deadbeat,
bro.
Let's
fight. I don't know. There's no more words.
Telling someone that their dad doesn't love them and then proceeding to go and make a diss track against McDonald's like shortly after that.
Bro.
It was fucking crazy.
And people want to rap with this guy. Like you want to rap, like you want to battle. This he's not a battle rapper. He's
Push is a psychopath, bro.
when we talked about him on the Joe Budden podcast, the way that he describes like getting the information and how he like moves, it's like, you don't want to, this isn't a regular guy. He don't think about rap like the rest of us think about it. He thinks about it on like a scientific level, and you don't really want to battle guys that think about it like that.
You don't want no smoke with that guy.
You were high in the child, but look, now Donnie's about to have a #1 song, so
man, look,
grass is green on the other side.
Sometimes, sometimes these things just work out, man. He lost his he lost his shoe deal and his rollout that he was going to get out of all of this, but
whoops.
I mean, and I think the thing is he was going to tell people that he had the son.
Totally.
I still think that was a wild time period, though. Him putting that line out there and then Drake coming out and giving us the line of, I wouldn't hide my son from the world. I was hiding the world from my son.
Crazy as hell. But only he could say and do that. Yeah, I don't believe that he wouldn't. I think he was going to, it's Drake. He was going to have his own rollout. He just stepped on his rollout. That's all it is.
Yeah, he just stepped on the whole thing, made him in the process look like a scumbag, and he hasn't dodged all those allegations quite yet.
Because honestly, like Drake doesn't have to tell us about. Like he probably shouldn't tell us about his kid. Like in hindsight, because like people are crazy out here. Like he was doing right by hiding his child. Honestly, Pusha T's the one that's acting crazy. Like don't tell nobody about my kid. Not because I don't want anybody to know that I have a kid. Just because they're gonna get harassed because people are awful.
Yeah, of course I'm having fun with that line, but bro, Emotionless is one of those ones. Drake was getting off on that record.
Yeah, he was. He could do it.
He has his moments.
I hate when he did. Now I've heard that I think yesterday I heard like 5, 8 a.m. and what is it? 8 a.m. Charlotte remixes. Everybody's rapping over it. And I'm like,
he does it every time, and he'll jump on a beat, and then all of a sudden, like, how many times did we hear people try to rap over Champagne Poetry after?
Oh my god!
It just got to overkill. Lupe did kill that verse over that beat as well.
I mean, people be spitting, but like if 15, 25, 90 rappers are rapping over the same beat, all right, guys, we get it. Like there should be a limit. Like if you see 5 rappers have already did it, you can't do it. Do something else.
Yeah.
Even if you think they're trash.
Yeah, that's one of those reasons why when we have the debate about Wayne's influence, I'm always like, nah, I was there when we had to listen to a verse over Millie every day. There's a new Millie verse every day, and I'm just like,
Jesus.
Yo, let this thing calm down a little bit, man.
Remember that era of they would rappers would do that, then they would put them all together, and then you would hear like 100 rappers over the same beat, and it's like,
yeah, DJs,
this is unnecessary, you guys.
DJs were going crazy, man.
This is unnecessary.
The extended cut of this was overboard, man. But yeah,
shout out to K Slay, rest in peace.
Yeah, shout out to K Slay. Of course, that is also what gave me one of my favorite Jay ad-libs ever. It wasn't in reference to that, but this is just how different times was. And Jay hit us with the, do not put my verse on your beat, bro. Start charging y'all every time. I start charging y'all 700%. Do not put my verse on your beat, man.
That was a thing. I watched that mixtape documentary, And all the mixtape DJs were saying like, yes, we were just stealing verses and putting them over beats.
All the way to the point that Hove put out the Black album a cappella, so you guys just had the verses. He did have to work for you.
Right. Here you go. You can stop stealing my stuff. Here's the work for you. Yeah, no, those are some wild times, man. The game is so different. Like it's like when the old heads always complain, like, all you have to do is press a button to get your song on out now. It's like, yeah, legit. Like, we don't have to stand outside. I don't have to go and try to hand my CD to nobody. If I try to do that now, they'd yell at me to get out of their face. Like, the game is way different. It's way easier. It's hard as hell because there's now 90,000 rappers, but it's way easier to get on. You could just get famous on TikTok, and now you got a record deal.
Not to go on a tangent, but this is why the rollout is different, man. You don't have to do the same rollout. You don't have to show up at radio stations and have freestyles prepared. You don't have to do that no more. You don't have to. You don't have to be able to rap. You don't have to. You don't have to show up and somebody's like, "Yo, I'm putting this beat on. You gotta spit." A lot of these dudes don't have to do that, but this is one of the things that I will give Drake his credit for, is he's one of the last of that breed where he still will show up places and do freestyles, man. Like, how many times do we have to listen to people making that combination joke? Because he still will show up places and freestyle, man.
That wasn't that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will give him credit on that.
That was annoying.
Combination.
Oh my God. People don't know how to act when something goes viral.
Yeah, people will definitely beat something into the ground.
To the ground, to death. It was dead.
Yeah, but yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that's kind of a last of a dying breed. It's wild to think that Drake is a last of a dying breed, but he kind of is.
Has his album climbed in your Drake list after some time?
No, I enjoyed the album for what it is, but
it's still what it is.
I don't think it's like one of his best albums. No, right. I enjoy it. I think out of his last 4 albums, I would say I enjoy it. Like, I think CLB is enjoyable. I don't mind. Honestly, never mind as much as other people hated it. I think that album has aged a lot better than people give it credit for. But I'm not this big Drake hater. I mean, hit a huge milestone this week. 13 number 1 records. That's massive.
It's a lot of number ones.
I saw people doing the we gotta separate these things because you can't compare him to somebody like Mike because Mike had to sell physical copies. And while I agree, I do think it's a different time, and selling music then is different than it is now. Right. But getting a number 1 record is still not like this easy feat. Even if it's streaming, you still gotta have.
You gotta earn it.
You still gotta earn it. You gotta have the name recognition. You still have things that came with it. And again, credit to this guy. This guy got on a record with J. Cole that everybody told us he got killed on. And this is J. Cole's first number 1 record.
Number 1, the first one.
He had the Drake stimulus package is still the Drake stimulus package, and so and 2, he said at the end of this record what he was gonna do. He called his shot. He was like, "Yo, I'm getting ready to get Mike out of here. I'm getting ready to beat this record." He just tied the record.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think the other part that people, because he's not credited for Sicko Mode. If he was credited for Sicko Mode, he would have already beat the record.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, give Drake his credit. I know people hate the guy for various reasons. But, man, that's a lot of number 1 records, man.
13 number 1s.
And when you consider how long this guy's been on top, he's had a crazy run, man.
No one has done it like this guy. You can men lie, women lie, numbers do not. And he has all the numbers. They're all his. And he's been on top that whole time. Like Nas, great, my favorite of all time, my favorite hip hop album of all time. Never been on top because there's always been Hov, there's always been DMX, there's always been Ja Rule, there's always been 50 Cent, there's always all these other guys. This guy has been on top for like 15 straight years. He's reinvented himself. Like you said, the Drake stimulus package still works. He could get on any song in the world and take that shit to number 1 with his raps. This was J. Cole's this first time ever having a #1 song, and he's had a bunch of incredibly dope songs, bunch of incredibly dope records, and Drake's the one that brought him to it. That's his influence. You can't. He's #1 of all time. You can't. He has it.
Yeah.
This is the numbers. What are you gonna do?
I personally wouldn't call him the GOAT, but I mean, I think when people are like, he doesn't deserve any credit, or people bashing him, like, this guy still had an amazing career, whether you like his music or not, whether you want to have the argument that he's never had a classic album, blah, 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 all of the stuff they throw on the guy. I also have seen a lot of people turning into Cole fans after this first person shooter burst. And I'm like, I remember how y'all talked about Cole.
I talk crazy about my boy.
It was a lot of people calling Cole corny for a long time. I remember how y'all were talking about that folding clothes record. Get out of here. I remember all the jokes like, y'all can't tell me, all right, we want these rappers to grow up. And then Cole gave you a folding clothes record and y'all were like, nah, get this corny shit out of here.
Cole has put out like it's probably like his fourth straight like I'm an adult record, and people have been saying that. Nobody listen to that J. Cole shit. That's just corny. Nobody would looking out for J. Cole. Nobody playing that in their car. I'm like, all right.
I remember I've been a Cole fan since the first album, really since the mixtapes, and I remember how some people used to talk about Cole. Yeah. Cole is not seen as favorably as the internet will have you think.
No, not at all. Not even close.
That's the other thing with Drake that I don't think, not to go on this tangent again, that some people are like, oh, well, he should make this album for rap fans, because he said that that's what this album is for. I'm like, yo, but I remember how some rap fans used to talk about this guy. It wasn't favorably. Some people have always thought this dude was corny.
Yeah, that's what's always funny to me, because I keep hearing that after. That was the big talk after Fraud the Dogs came out. As people like, I want him to make this adult hip hop record. Like, all those people you think he's going to make the record for are not going to listen to it. They're done. No. They've moved on. You're not getting them back. Like, they're not all of a sudden going to be like, we're these big Drake fans. They'll listen to it once or twice, but he's making it. That's no point of doing that. Might as well keep making it for your fans.
No, then the critique will change.
Exactly.
Because I've seen people that are like, we want his 444. Everybody didn't like 444. No. I remember 50 Cent calling elevator music, bro. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I personally love 444.
It was great.
It's one of my favorite Hove records. Came out on my birthday. Mm-hmm. I love it, but I also remember that some people did not talk as favorably about it.
There was a lot of discourse of people being like, don't nobody want to hear this shit. Same thing that as always. What's he talking about? Why is he rapping about this? Why is it this? Why is he all that? I want to hear about this shit. It's like, time is good to a lot of stuff, but in the moment, people were getting them out of here.
Yeah, I think that it was seen more favorably than a lot of the post-retirement Hove albums, but it's just a lie that everybody saw this as this big moment for him and this big moment of growth. A lot of people didn't care about the growth. They want to hear the ice rap. Yeah.
And I feel like Drake is going to eventually put it out, but it's not now. I don't think we need it now. Like, in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, he'll be like, all right, here's that album y'all were caring about. But like,
yeah, I think he is. I think that also people are missing. You can make an argument that his last 4 albums are kind of concept albums, loosely concept albums, because they follow a narrative. Like the first album was sort of Certified Lover Boy, then it went to, Honestly Nevermind, then it went to Her Loss, and then For All the Dogs. If you just look at the titles of it, it follows a narrative. I don't think I'm stretching and saying that, but
Guess who's in our super chats? Because we're talking about Drake. Aaron Busby says, I came in here and y'all praising Aubrey. I'm upset.
Don't tell me you scared of little Drake. Okay, don't tell me you scared of little Aubrey.
The man that consistently has his foot on Drake and Drake fans' neck, Aaron Busby, chiming in, of course. I get it, Busby. A lot of times, a lot of what you say is right. But then a lot of it is also not right, I think.
No,
there's two sides.
Everybody's welcome to their opinion. I just think it's funny that I think that is also a sign of just how great his career is, that he has like such staunch haters. Anybody that has done anything great has a lot of haters.
Exactly. Nobody just like is universally praised. Like the best They say there's a bunch of Hove haters, there's a bunch of Kendrick haters. Like we were just talking about a bunch of Cole haters. Like there's no rapper that's just like we all love him.
Bro, there are Pac haters. There are big haters.
So many Pac haters. Oh,
there are
God.
Definitely Pac haters. But yeah, and I mean I think some criticism of Drake is valid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Some stuff he gets away with and he shouldn't, but it's because he is who he is. Like history shows that he shouldn't be able to do this, but he's able to do it because he's Drake. And I'm not mad at him for it. He's earned that position. One more super chat before we move on. 10 Ruza says, should 90s rap / hip hop beats / vibes return? Love to you. They're back. Yeah,
I think they have a lot. The fact that so many older songs are like sampled and there's so many songs that are turned into like flips now. No, I think that
pretty
vibe
much
is still
every
back.
popular song that comes out is a fucking sample or flip of some kind of 90s or early 2000.
Yeah, I mean the Wale record that just dropped is a flip of the interlude from the Missy album with the Lil Mo sample he does with it, which is fire, by the way.
Yeah,
Wale is insanely underrated.
Shout out to Wale getting signed to Def Jam, out here still consistently making moves, still trying to level up his rap career, and still just rapping exceptionally well. The way people made fun of Drake for that Grease Mykonos line, and on this record, Wale has an infinitely better Grease Mykonos line. Nah, he comes out on there rapping. When he started out the record and was like, "Nah, I acknowledge everybody, but we ain't homies," I was like, "Bro, survive." They kind of talked about Wale exactly the same way they talked about Cole. They call him corny, they call him all this stuff, and it's like, no, the bro can really rap, really rap.
So the funny thing with the Wale thing that I just was talking about the other day to somebody else, I think some people forget with like these blog era guys like him, and I don't know if you can. Well, you can't consider Drake a blog era rapper.
Yeah, definitely.
But him and Wale, I think it's funny that people are like, "Oh, this guy can't take a criticism." I'm like, do y'all remember when Wale was like trying to go up to the complex building to tighten dude up over that list? Like a lot of artists don't like criticism, man. That's not just a Drake thing.
It's not a new thing, you guys. That's pretty universal.
That is a long story thing in hip hop of rappers trying to beat up somebody over criticism.
Pretty much every hip hop documentary you've ever watched, you'll hear at least one story of, oh yeah, he ran up on blah blah blah's offices with the Straight Outta Compton. Like this rap is built off of people not respecting. Like Dr. Dre has a very Dr. Dre has done a lot of very good things, but the bad things he done are really bad. And most of them are because of criticism.
Yeah, no, artists don't take criticism well. And it used to be for a time in rap where, no, you could really end up getting your ass whipped over fucking criticism.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they didn't go to jail or nothing. It was just like that was part of the game. Like, oh, a bunch of rappers beat me up at this nightclub, and then nothing happened. It's like,
no, it used to be up out here for rap journalists.
And that's so funny. They try to act like it's a new thing. Like Drake is they used to run in offices with guns and like hold up the offices saying, you better talk better about me.
Different time.
Wu-Tang, them niggas are running up on everybody.
Different time, bro. Different time.
They show it in the show of them being like, yeah, we waited outside his offices and hemmed him up.
Different time. But man, yo, shout out to Wale. Every time Wale drops, he's one of those guys that I pay attention. He always drops a big record every time he drops. Like the way On Chill was everywhere that year that dropped. Like, nah.
He's underrated, man.
Very much underrated. I think he's not mentioned in the same breath as those three guys, Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, in the way he should be.
Yep. Because he came up right alongside side of them. And he's had some big, giant they played this song on the radio every 60 minutes type hits. Like I've listened to the radio and heard Wale songs 5 times in a row type shit. Like
Lotus
he's had big hits.
Was everywhere that year. Are you kidding me?
He's a guy. Shout out to him. Wale, come on the show still. I said it when Kaz was here. I'm gonna say it again.
Biggest Madonna. I'll say it again. Just getting one more in there for you, Busby. Just in case you're still listening.
Maybe one time we'll have a 20-minute conversation about the greatness of Eminem, and then you'll like it. We'll get more super chats in here. I'll let Phil go off on how Eminem's his favorite rapper of all time.
I mean, speaking of Eminem, we said it on Patreon, but one more time for the legend. 45 King, rest in peace, man. Produced Stan, produced Hard Knock Life. Was a big figure in this culture.
I listened to na 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 like hella loud yesterday.
Yeah, man, that video of him going around doing the Ed Lover dance on Yo MTV Raps is just culture, man. This guy's been around for the longest, man.
I was thinking about those songs because the bass lines, I think the 45 Kings bass lines are so strong, specifically in both of those songs have really strong ass bass lines in the beat. And both of those songs, like we said on Patreon, changed the careers of two of the biggest rappers of all time. The reason that they are the biggest rappers of all time are because of these two songs that this guy produced. So
yeah, Stan is what it was for not just Eminem, for the culture that changed the culture. The fact that Stan is now a meme, it is a term that is a huge deal.
Out of hip hop, it's just like a general term.
Stan has transcended hip hop. One of the biggest songs, not just of Eminem's career, but one of the biggest hip hop records ever. Hard Knock Life did what it did for Hove, turned him into a crossover star.
When Hard Knock Life came out, like I don't, that energy, and like every time you turn on TV, people were talking about it. Every time you turn on the radio, it was on. Like the game changed.
Yes. We had to listen to years and years of people trying to chase that record. We had to listen to years of Hove trying to recreate that record.
Everybody.
So that was a massive record at that time for Hove.
Every time Hove put out a new single, it was like, all right, Hove, like we get it. You're trying to do the Annie thing again.
Yeah, no, he had a few of them that were pretty close. And some of them were fire. Like Anything is one of my favorite.
Anything is dope.
But yeah, it definitely trying to chase that vibe again. But yeah, rest in peace to Mark the 45 King.
Yeah, crazy, man. Hip hop is fucked up. All of our legends, they're all gone. Especially, it sucks, and that's why we appreciate platforms like Drink Champs, who gives these legends their flowers. Because a lot of these guys, Mark the 45 King, like didn't get what he really deserved until now. We're all like, oh damn, look at these amazing things. He produced this, but like he lived a lot of his life just like being a humble, great guy, and should get so much more. That's what's been great about Hip Hop 50 is they've been paying tribute to a bunch of people that deserve it, but more people deserve it.
Yeah. Speaking of, man, I didn't watch the Hip Hop Awards a few weeks ago, but every time I see clips of stuff,
I need to see that still.
That So Def melody was fire, man. Getting to see all of those artists together. It's still wild, like seeing Bow Wow as a adult and just like
it is weird, isn't it?
Like and to really think about like, no, Bow Wow's really a legend. Like when people were trashing the Adonis record, and people were like, man, he was 6 years old, and then people were bringing up that clip of Bow Wow when he was 6 years old on Showtown at the Apollo. No, like Bow Wow is legitimately a legend, man. You got
legendary figure. It seems weird because like we were around the same age when he was really cooking, but this guy was one of the biggest rappers in the world, and he was 10 years old. This guy was on fire. I remember my little cousin Brandon was so obsessed with this guy, and this is how little girls around the world were. He was going on legendary tours. His songs were hitting. He was so deaf. Like they don't put respect on this guy's name because of the antics afterwards. But like this guy can like if you're talking about like young kid hip hop artists, like he's on the Mount Rushmore of that. Like
he's the most successful. He's the most successful child hip hop artist ever.
Yeah,
and
he's
and not just that
standard.
Not just that, like this guy was running things. Like he was constantly on all the video channels. Fixture on 106 in Park.
Mr. 106 in Park, that was real.
had a movie career. Nah, he was getting to it.
Yeah.
He was getting to
it. The rapper stimulus package for sure. The big movie, the number one on all the video shows, on all the radio shows, all the tours. Like he was that guy, and he was a kid.
Yeah, give Bow Wow flowers.
They
man.
had to bring out another. They brought out Little Romeo to try to recreate that.
Romeo.
Romeo didn't hit like that. I fucks with Romeo though. That's the homie. But man,
Romeo
got his shit off too. Like he even came out again. Romeo.
Romeo came out here.
Romeo, give me a chance.
Romeo
Tina, I don't be your girlfriend.
Romeo will forever be on the Patreon for the Static Shock theme song.
Yes.
Superhero Static Shock.
Shout out to Romeo, man.
Shout out to Romeo, man.
Man, he came up in the shadow of a giant. Like, if it wasn't for Bow Wow, he would be a superstar too. But Bow Wow was dominating the game.
Bow Wow,
that's how this
listen,
guy
man.
was.
Also a wrestling fan. I still think one of the coolest cultural moments is Bow Wow doing a black wrestling podcast. Not like at that time when he was trying to convince us that he was going to wrestle. Still haven't seen you wrestling, by the way.
Yeah, whatever that was all about was weird, but
try to convince us that he was going to wrestle, and he didn't show up at any of these other places. He went to a black wrestling podcast and chopped it up, talked about wrestling, talked about his fandom. What a guy!
Wow, he's wild. Still be doing wild. I was watching. What's that? There's a TV show like Hip Hop Children or whatever it's called, and he's as wild. But you got to think about it. Like we described all of this stuff. He was 10 years old. He had everything you could ever want as a human at 10 years old. So
if I had the money that he had at his age, I don't know if I would have made it as long as he did.
No way.
Would have got out of here.
Yeah, I'm saying like imagine at you're 16 years old and you have everything in the world you want, any car you want, any video game, jewelry, money, car, girls, everything you want in the world. I'm dead. Like I'm dying.
I don't know. Yes, Shay Monster. Now that she is at WWE, finish the story with Jay.
WWE will finish the story. That's going to be fucked up because it was set up for AEW to finish the story. Remember, they advertising Bow Wow's going to be on the show and everything. Now WWE is going to come swoop in and get him out of here. It's crazy. Crazy. Everybody's playing that. I don't know why this made me think of Spider-Man. Everybody's playing that new Spider-Man game, huh? That's just pretty hot around the net.
Yeah, I don't have a PlayStation, so I haven't played it.
Oh, it's a PlayStation exclusive?
It is a PlayStation exclusive. But yeah, people are playing it. It has been all over the timeline. Kai Cenat is streaming it. Had Zendaya on his stream the other day.
I don't understand this new, like, what did he, like, he has a TV show, but it's just a stream. And every day he has Zendaya's in his room. Like, what is this? Like like it's lucrative too. Like he's making a lot of money. Like kids legit sit and watch it. Like I don't get it, but like I know that's the game now.
Look, man, the internet is TV for some people now, man.
The internet is TV. That's a bar.
Seriously, the internet is TV for a lot of kids growing up. Like there are people that they don't watch a whole bunch of TV. That's all they do is stream and watch things on YouTube.
Yeah, thinking about it, my cousin's kids, that's all that. So it's just like streaming or they're watching someone stream. Like it's all connected to one thing.
To bring it full circle, Donnie tried to tell you, man. He broke his iPad, man. That's what it is, man. How many of these kids, they only watch things through the iPad, man?
So to bring it full circle. Do not bring it full circle with Donnie, Phil.
Nah, man.
He said to bring it full circle and quoted Donnie. It's a sick, sad world out here, man.
Wait, it wasn't it wasn't actually Zendaya? What am I missing? I don't know. I don't watch. I don't watch it.
Zendaya. It looked like her. I watched the video.
What is? Yeah, she needs to hire her.
She
needs to start sending her out as like as the Doom double. Like, man, I don't feel like working today. Like,
but I'm just like, it just makes me think of more like, damn, I need to be streaming because it looks like the game is like the guys that are really the guys and girls and people that are really doing it are like doing it. And they're just playing video games. Like he's just playing video games at the basis of it, right?
I guess that's what it is. I'm old, man. I don't know. I didn't even know that wasn't really Zendaya. I just saw I saw the clip and I didn't even click the audio to listen to it. I was just like, what is this? But apparently it was a Zendaya impersonator. Like,
that's crazy. I thought you could fool me.
I guess
the game is crazy. The game is crazy. We got one more super chat from Tin Ruza says, I'll take TLC, Lil Kim, Janet Jackson over Taylor Swift. 5. Who's 5 ounce? What's the middle one? And Denise.
I think he's trying to say sorry, Denise, or something.
Oh, Taylor says sorry, Denise. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say. Yeah, man, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan, but I'm not the intended audience for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I also get it. You know.
Hey, man. I respect it. Massive career.
I mean, I'd be loving to get some Taylor Swift money if it were me, and I see why she's doing the movie thing. Like, I love her, everything she does. Like, I don't like the music because that's not my bag, but like the way that she goes about her business is dope. Like, she gave a bunch of her money from this tour, like to the drivers and the staff. Like, she really held down for the people that were involved in this massive tour where she made $1 gazillion, and I like that part.
Yeah. I believe we have some Humper chats. Humper chat from Tony P says, quick break. I had a random thought. You can add or dismiss. WWE has always found more value in black women than black men as world champions in stories, especially early on, where most were seen more as the antagonists for babyfaces until the Diva era, and a benefit financially for them. I asked Sean this, and now asking you to. Seeing Max and Roman's run near the end has me thinking of all the possibilities of new world champions in the future. Just say high or low of the chances you think of the following wrestlers will be some kind of world champion in the next 18 months. See, so Joe, I would say high.
I say high. Samoa Joe.
Cole, I would say low now because
yeah,
I would have said high a few months ago before the injury. Before the injury, I would have said high. Ruby, I'm not sure. I'm going to go low on that.
I would say low.
I would think that Ruby should be champion. Bailey, I'm going to say low.
Awesome.
Tiffany Stratton, I think she'll be NXT Women's Champion again eventually.
Yeah, I wouldn't say main roster, but NXT champion, I'd say high.
See, Athena after ROH run, I'm going to say high eventually. I think that she's eventually going to come back to the main roster and kill it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty high on that one too.
See, Jay, I think it's Jey Uso.
Oh, okay.
I would say low on that because I think the chances of Sammy being a champion sooner are probably higher than Jay's.
Like, is there a world where like Jey Uso beats Seth Rollins?
No, I don't think it is.
That's the only way. So I'd say low then.
But I think that
or anybody for that belt, you know?
Yeah, I think that world title picture on Raw is very stacked, and that's the only reason why I say no. But I think there's so many other guys you can move up.
Right.
Like I still think Gunther is probably high on that list.
Yeah. There's some people that are higher in the ladder than Jey Uso is.
This week's episode of Raw definitely made me want to see Sammy go for the title again. I still think that there's money in him as a world champion, especially now that there are 2 belts.
Because I watched Gunther and the big homie Jonah Rock. What's his name?
Bronson
Reed. Yeah,
Jonah Rock. Bronson Reed. No, that match was fire.
That match was crazy.
Gunther don't have no bad matches, bro. He's killing out here.
Gunther, Dragon, American Dragon, and Kenny Omega, and Will Ospreay, like these guys, you could put them in there with anybody.
See, to round out his list, Bay. I'm saying he means Chris Bay. I'm going to say low because I feel like it should have happened by now.
Yeah.
But he should. He's one of those guys. I think they've got a guy that he should be in the world title picture soon. Once he's done with this tag run with Austin, I think that's where he should be going.
Totally. I'm gonna say low too, just because of the time. It's saying it should be totally world champ status, but just for I think they really like the tag team of them.
Yeah. Shaw, I think he means Giselle Shaw.
I could see her being a Knockouts champion. I say high.
I'm going to say low just because that's a stacked division. And when you look at everybody behind her that hasn't won, like Masha still hasn't won.
Right.
Killer Kelly's still there. I'm going to say no, low.
Okay.
Shayna, I'm going to say low because she's another one like Chris Bay that it should have happened by now.
It should have happened. It's going to be hard to kind of regain the momentum, especially with the people that are ahead of her, like Becky and the Tiffany Stratons of the world, you know?
Then the last one is Bryan Danielson. I'm gonna say low because this
Low.
man does not want to be world champion.
You don't want that. This guy does not want that at all. Another pretty much along the same lines of what Phil was saying, but in his direction. Like if it was gonna happen, he would have already made it happen.
I just don't think he cares about being champion.
Just don't care.
He says, also, are there some that I didn't list that you feel are possibly surprise highs you feel no one is thinking about, or some low chances for ones people feel high on being next in the near future?
LA Knight.
You
Not
think
gonna
LA
win
Knight
that.
is
Not gonna be the one.
I think his chances are lower than people think. I think if
Yes.
it was just based off of what the fans think and the response, then yeah, absolutely he should be.
Yeah,
high,
if
but
we're talking about over world champion
Yeah.
tomorrow, but I don't see that.
I mean, the obvious one I think is super high within the next 18 months is Swerve. I think there's a real chance of him being champion within the next year.
That's probably the easiest one right there. Like if you were to put, where's my FanDuel bet of who's somebody in the next 12 to 18? Swerve. That's it.
Trying to think anybody else.
And I think Jay White is pretty high too. I could also see
Yeah.
him being AEW world champion somewhere in the next year or a year and a half. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna.
what do you think about, and who is Cody still going to be the one to beat Roman? That's where we're leading
Yeah.
to all of this.
I
Okay.
still think it's Cody.
I don't know if it's going to ever change up now, because people are somehow convinced that The Rock is going to be at WrestleMania, and I just don't know why you guys are convinced of this.
Rock is not coming, buddy. Somebody that I think also that is probably high that people are not thinking about. I think the chances of Jay being a champion as well, being a world champion within the next year, are also high.
Oh yeah, I'd say super high for that, honestly.
Yeah, within the next year, 18 months for sure. Yeah, 18 months, that's a long time. That's a year and a half. I think Jay will be champion within 18 months.
Totally. I think this, like, she's gonna cook for a while. I could see her by maybe SummerSlam of next year, like being in contention at minimum.
Yeah. I'm gonna disagree with what he said earlier though, when he said that they've always treated black women better than black men. I don't think people remember the history of WWE and black women just because they eventually got it right.
It's a new thing for sure.
Because I mean, if you look at their history, let's just go all the way back to the original women's champion. It took them forever to make a black woman champion in Jacqueline. And do y'all remember how she won? She won because of the bikini contest thing, and then she immediately lost it back to Sable, which I thought she won that bikini contest, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, but she
them
lost.
things was thinking. I'm telling you.
But yeah, she and then the next time that she won the belt, it was during a Harvey Whippleman nonsense, which was trash. And then, do you guys remember how she lost the belt? It was during the DX thing. She got humiliated, and Stephanie won the belt off of her. Never got the belt back after that. And that was her last reign as champion. I would say they booked Jazz well as champion, but Jazz was really there to be a foil for Trish.
Yep.
Yeah, she got her shit off. She got a WrestleMania win over Trish and Lita, but Jazz will tell you herself, she didn't have merch. She didn't even have action figure for a long time.
She was there to be the villain to Trish and Lita, pretty much. They need some big bad person that they could overcome.
There was only one black Divas champion, and that was Alicia, and she was a transitional champion.
Yep.
If you look at all of Sasha's reigns before she got the good one as SmackDown champion, they were all short reigns.
Yep. Some of them were a day. They were.
I mean, bam. Sasha was NXT champion, and then it felt like they should have just made Bianca champion for the longest. They gave Athena a short-lived reign, but no, Athena should have been the one that broke Asuka's record, and she should have had a better NXT title reign than she did. Also, Bianca never got that title reign with NXT that I thought she should have. It took them longer to get it right with women than I think people remember.
Right.
So I will disagree with that point, Tony.
Yeah, it Bianca is kind of an anomaly. That's really
She
when
is.
Sasha had a bunch of, like you said, kind of short-lived reigns. She never really got to cook. Bianca's the first one that got to cook with the championship.
And she's the first black woman I think that this company has really gotten it right with in terms of knowing her value, in terms of marketing, knowing like everything. Like she's had like that Cena like run.
Yep.
Of course, she made her return last night at SmackDown as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Looked fantastic.
Big pop, looked great. That KOD on Bailey was beautiful.
But they gave Sasha a lot, but I don't think that they really understood in some ways what they had in Mercedes, even after the fact. And I mean, if that was the case, I think she would be still there.
Exactly. That pretty much will be the end of that. Not for nothing, that Charlotte and Io match banged. I like that finish a lot. That her using the belt, knocking Charlotte out, like really good stuff. I thought Charlotte was gonna go over, and she didn't. Good for her.
Yeah, SmackDown, like I said, was very good. I thought Raw was good this week as well. I thought I thought the segment with Drew and Seth was much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought they both cut really good promos. Drew cut a very good promo that very much makes me believe he's going to turn heel. So I'm happy about that.
Yes.
I like Seth's retort though. Seth is basically like, bro, enough. Stop making excuses. Enough with the bloodline stuff. We get it. Let it go. But at the same time, yeah, in character, I understand why Drew wouldn't let it go. They cost him his possibly one of the biggest moments of his career. If you were chasing this title win that you didn't get in front of a crowd since the pandemic, and you could have possibly got that win in the UK in front of a crowd that wanted this. You wanted this. This could have meant it you.
Yeah.
And you got cheated out of this because of the bloodline? No, I'm not getting over that.
I'm not forgetting about it. No. It's forever.
But at the same time, it plays into what Seth's character is as well. It's like, no, bro, I was waiting, like he said, for 4 years to get back to this time. Right. And yeah, I got cheated at Royal Rumble, but as soon as I got the ball again, look what I've done with it as world champion. Stop making excuses. Make your own way. And so I understood both of their points, but like I said, it very much makes me feel like Drew is going to turn heel. I thought Seth also coming with his video like cheaters, where he's just like, no, look, because I thought the same thing last week when he was like, yeah, I'm not out here to jump you, but then as soon as somebody else jumped him, he didn't help him. But then when the cash-in was coming, then he helped. I'm like, oh, Drew, you wouldn't help him until you felt like your title match was in jeopardy. Looks a little suspicious, man. Looks a little suspicious. And then, of course, he showed that clip with Rhea and Drew backstage talking. And I was like, yeah, what's up with that?
What's up with that?
And, never really answered that question, Drew, because he was kind of like, well, that's none of your business what we were talking about. It kind of is. Like, what do you mean?
It is also none of your business, though. Why you recording me?
I mean, my thing is, like, you can't just be like, why do you care that I'm talking about the Judgment Day? Judgment Day has been harassing this man for the entire title reign. Yeah, I'm wondering why you talking to the leader of Judgment Day.
Oh, you told me to stop bringing up old stuff with the bloodline. Why you bringing up old stuff with the Judgment Day?
But this ain't old stuff. This happened. He literally jumped this guy last week. Damian Priest jumped this guy last week.
Why you bringing up old stuff, Seth?
I mean, in story, Judgment Day is the biggest threat to his title reign. They have a Money in the Bank winner as a part of the group. So, yeah, I'm sure he's like, yeah, what are you doing? What is your plan? But I think all of this is interesting. I think that similar to what's happening with Max, the fact that all of these people on Raw are gunning for Seth, and Seth has gotten this paranoid that he's like, nah, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's this clip?
Yeah, I like everything that's happening right now. Is Drew gonna beat Seth though?
I don't think he is. I don't think that they would do that win in Saudi Arabia. If they do, I could see maybe a cash in. I don't know, but I don't think that Drew is winning at Crown Jewel. I think he's going to turn, if I had to guess.
Okay, yeah, because that's usually how they kind of do heel turns, as in he's going to lose, be upset, probably attack him afterwards, and then that leads to another match, and then maybe that's it.
It was just something about how he was sitting there looking, and even how he was talking to Sammy when he was saying, "Man, I was with you, and then you forgave Jey Uso. What are you doing? You can't trust that guy." Yeah. And again, all of this stuff is great in character, continuity-wise, for Drew to be like, nah, fuck Bloodline. Fuck Jey Uso. I don't trust this guy.
Nah, it's forever. They need some more strong heels over there because they can't just let Judgment Day dominate everything. So Drew turning heel is actually a good thing. I mean, I guess Gunther is kind of a heel too. Maybe it is kind of strong with heels over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that if you're gonna have a big babyface champion, you need a field of guys to come up against him,
Right.
and so it makes sense for Drew to be a heel, and he's just better as a heel in my
He
opinion.
is. That's all it is. I
But
hope being a heel stops him from doing the damn countdown for the Claymore. I hate the countdown. Just kick him. Why are we doing a countdown with the fans?
Yeah, I don't want the countdown either, but there's definitely something going on with him and Rhea. I don't know what it is, but I am interested. Like I said, good episode of Raw. We got, like you said, that fire match with Gunther and Bronson Reed. We got a really good match with Shinsuke and Ricochet. One of the more interesting falls count. All sorry, one of the more interesting stipulation matches we've seen with WWE in a while. I thought Ricochet definitely made this into his own match. He didn't try and overdo it with any of like the hardcore spots or like the spots we see all the time. He did a lot of inventive stuff.
He's like, I'm gonna flip off a high step. I'm Ricochet.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm just gonna use all the environment to my advantage, and that's what you should be doing with Ricochet.
Right.
I thought he came out of this looking really, really good. It made sense to give Nakamura the win because Nakamura needed a win after the pay-per-view. But yeah, Ricochet.
This is how you book a falls count anywhere match. You let Ricochet do all the crazy shit, the flying, and then he gets beat at the end. Both guys get over though.
Yeah, I feel like Ricochet could have easily won this match. I really enjoyed it though. I thought the dive off of the balcony was really cool. Did some really
Ricochet it's so funny because like I always knew that he was going to kind of shine in WWE because he always like he's a flipper and all this, but like his presentation always felt like he wanted to get to WWE, and I knew that if they utilized him, they could have something in them. And it's funny because he's a moments wrestler. That's really why, and I'm like he creates so many moments. I know that they're gonna love him, and now they're starting to finally use him as like, oh yeah, let's just have him do some big moments that's going to go viral.
This was always my knock against people that are like, he can't talk. That's not what you want Ricochet to do.
I don't want him to talk.
He doesn't need to talk. Have him come out there and do the cool spots. That's what makes him interesting. Like him coming out and doing all the acrobatic stuff, him running up walls and doing like parkour
like he got
stuff,
that match with Logan Paul because they did a big moment. Like that's how you do it. Do a big moment.
Do the big spots, man. And so I think he came off really well in that match with Logan. I think he came off well in any of the spots they've used him in. I think he's been booked better under the Triple H regime than he was booked for the most part as the main roster guy. Because, I mean, he had that fire match for the Intercontinental Championship last year. Was that last year in Chicago? After he won the World Cup tournament. Was that last year? It's been a long year, but still, he's been great lately. I still think that he should get a match for the World Heavyweight Championship eventually.
Totally,
he wants the match. Seth has been saying he wants the match, so I think that they should do that. After we're done with the Drew stuff, where we're going with this, I think Ricochet should get his title match.
Well, it's about to be Survivor Series season. Royal Rumble's coming up pretty soon. It's time to start cooking. We got to start getting some more people in position. You think they're going to ride out with Drew all the way into Royal Rumble with Seth?
I don't. I think that he's probably going to get the match here, and depending on what they do with the Survivor Series match, I could see him getting a match at Survivor Series, maybe.
Yeah. But because they're trying to do a big War Games match.
Yeah, so I don't know. But that raised a question that I thought coming into today. Is brand warfare back? Because now we have the two.
They're kind of playing towards it. It feels like.
Yeah, we've got the two GMs now. Nick kicked my man off of the show, which was a surprise. Yep. He was like, "Nah, get Jay out of here." By the way, you get out of here too.
You too. I like it. I love that energy.
I liked it, and I think that it was missing having two authority figures. To be honest with you, I think both brands kind of need an authority figure. It doesn't have to be as overt where the character as present every week, but I think in terms of like the draft and Survivor Series, I think it benefits to have an authority figure. Like
around this time for sure, if they're trying to build to the brand warfare thing, but we don't need every week, every other segment is the authority figure coming out to be like, and blah, blah, blah. But like in situations like this, I think it's really great. And kind of like storyline and real life, like SmackDown has improved under Nick Aldis. Like the shows have been better. So it's like in storyline, it also makes sense to kind of have some more structure with having this other guy. And it's going to lead to whatever they're doing here at Survivor Series. What's going to happen when when LA Knight loses at Crown Jewel? Are people going to get over it when they move on, or people are going to be upset?
I don't know. It depends on how they do this.
He's Is losing. There a good way to do this?
I think there's a good way to do this. I think that as long as they don't go out there and humiliate him, like if they have Roman squash him, I think that's bad.
That's a bad way.
But I think as long as they make it a competitive match, I'm fine with it. But I don't think he's winning. Yeah, I don't know. But man,
people think he's gonna win, Phil.
He's not winning.
He's not winning.
He's not winning.
Not gonna win.
Man, the funny thing about this brand warfare stuff is when I was sitting watching it, I was like, nah, I feel all this. He's right.
Yeah.
Because you've been letting Bloodline and these guys get away with stuff for the longest. So I would have been sitting there like, yeah, you and Jay, get out of here.
Right.
Jay has been causing problems on the show.
What are you doing here, dude? You sucked. When you were here, you couldn't handle anything. Why are you here again?
Yeah. And you got to look at it like this is the same thing we've seen tons of times. Jay showed up as a hooded guy again to interfere in a match. Yeah, I'm sure Nick Aldis is like, yo, enough. You and Jay, get out of here.
This thing that you keep letting happen happened again, and you're here. Nah, y'all gotta go.
Yeah, this has happened enough on your watch. I'm not gonna keep doing this. You and homeboy, get out of here. So I felt him. I was like, no, he's right.
That was a crazy pop for Jay when he took the mask off, though. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
they got something pretty good there with the with whatever they're doing with Jay and Jimmy, and I like the energy that Jimmy's bringing, being like hype, like I'm taking over for Roman while he's out of here, and everybody being annoyed by him. They're really coming into these roles. I'm still not super juiced about the brother versus brother thing, but I understand why they want to do it.
Yeah, I am not high on it. I think they're stretching it out too. But yeah. I always figured that Jimmy was going to do well with character stuff because Jimmy's a talented guy. And Jay is super over. He was a SmackDown guy for the longest. So him getting that pop on SmackDown made a lot of sense. He was he was a big focal point of the Bloodline stuff on SmackDown. So it just made sense. But that does make me wonder, what the hell was the point of this title win if they were just going to undo it in a week?
Yeah, I forgot about it. I forgot they lost the championships on Raw. What? Why?
What was the point of this? And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like all of the story stuff. Like, I enjoy the stuff that Sammy would feel away like, hey, man, we had a good thing going.
Right.
And then you came over here. And not only do you get the titles, but my partner is gone because you're here. And so I love that they followed up on it. I'm glad that Sammy didn't just move on and they just didn't address it at all. I thought that was a good way to address it. But then to do all of that, and then he just lose it in the main event. I'm just like, all right, so what was the point of any of this? What was the point of putting a belt to them at the pay-per-view? Like, I just don't get it. And then you did something cool on a season premiere of SmackDown with them. You did the stare down, and it seemed like we were getting the title match between Solo and Jimmy versus Jay and Cody, and now we're not getting that. So what was the point?
I don't understand it. They could have just did the same thing that they did on Monday at the pay-per-view. Just had Jimmy cost them the match. If that's what, I don't understand the point of it. Why'd you guys wrap back around to the same thing? That doesn't make sense.
I didn't understand the point of this. I didn't understand the point of having them drop the belts this soon. Yeah, I don't know.
For the big pay-per-view pop, like it worked, but you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, but so that makes me wonder, though, because now that Kevin Owens is on SmackDown and they are very much playing up brand versus brand warfare again, do you think that means that the War Game match is going to be Team SmackDown versus Team Raw?
But how do you do that? Because it felt like they're building to the Bloodline thing. You have Roman. Is Roman going to be there? Has this been discussed?
I don't know, man.
That's a pretty important component. If Roman's not going to be there, you could go with the Raw versus SmackDown thing.
I could see him feeling disgusted that, people are like, oh, that other guy's going to be there? I ain't.
Where y'all about to be at? Chicago?
Y'all going to be in Chicago and y'all trying to tell me that other guy might be here? I ain't. Yeah, I'm, of course, just playing. But That would be hilarious.
If that's what it feels like they're doing, though, with the brand warfare thing, I think that makes a lot more sense to do the war games thing. But I don't.
But I mean, Paul Driver's saying what I'm getting at. It might not be so much Team SmackDown, but this might be an easy way for them to do Team Jimmy versus Team Jay, where Jimmy picks his team of Raw guys. I'm sorry, Jimmy picks his team of Jay guys. I got confused because Jimmy has been wearing red and he's on SmackDown, and Jay has been wearing blue and he's on Raw. But Jimmy picks his team of guys from SmackDown, and Jay picks his guys from Raw. I think that also makes sense, and that's a nice way to go back to Team SmackDown versus Team Raw, but also add story elements to it. So I can see it going either way.
Roman is not going to be there, is what you're saying.
I don't think that Roman's going to be there. I think that the War Game match is going to be like either Team Jimmy versus Team Jay, or just like Team SmackDown versus Team Raw. I all this time have been thinking that it's going to be everybody versus Judgment Day, which is still a possibility, but I could also see them doing the how can they coexist with Judgment Day guys on Team Raw against some Bloodline guys on Team SmackDown.
This is so crazy. I remember probably it was in 98. I think Hogan took a WCW pay-per-view off like one. And that was like the wildest thing in the world. It's like top guys, world champions don't take the shows off. Roman's taking off. He just like will take off a big show and be like, I don't know what y'all want from me. But how are you not going to be at Survivor Series? That's a flagpole show.
But see, the times have also changed because now the brand sells the pay-per-view. It's not like before where the wrestler sells the pay-per-view. Like WrestleMania is prime example of that. They're not selling WrestleMania based off of who's headlining that show. That show's going to sell out regardless because it's WrestleMania. And they've already been telling us that Survivor Series
pretty much sold out next year, and they don't even have any matches announced for WrestleMania.
Yeah, they don't have to announce matches anymore. They're selling the brand. They're not selling just specific superstars anymore. So the Survivor Series is already sold out. They're adding new additions to the show because they're adding more seats. So they don't need Roman to sell that show out.
It's a sick world.
So I would not be surprised if Roman does not wrestle at that show. I don't know. But maybe they do LA Knight versus him. Maybe they do a champion versus champion match. I do think it's interesting that for Seth to be still saying, nah, I don't care about Bloodline. He's been throwing shots at Roman for a long time. Maybe that's the place where they do the rematch with Roman and Seth. And they do the champion versus champion match there. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Non-title and Seth beats him.
I think if Roman has a match, he's winning. But it should be. I wouldn't be mad at a champion versus champion match because I mean, if anything, this one makes more sense than usual champion versus champion matches because you have over a year of storyline as to why these two should come back and get a match. So I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. And also on SmackDown last night, Cena tried to trick people into thinking he was going to retire. Told a story about not having a win in 2002 days or something. I don't really understand the point of this because there wasn't. He didn't. What was the point of it? He didn't do nothing.
he basically did the scene from Wolf of Wall Street where he's like, I ain't going nowhere.
Okay. Like, I didn't think you were going anywhere though, bro.
I'm not gonna leave.
I'm not leaving. I'm like, I didn't think you were gonna leave though. Why are you yelling at us, bro?
Yeah, that was a very weird segment. You had him call somebody out, and then Solo came out, and then you just had Jimmy come out and interfere. It wasn't an actual match.
It wasn't a match.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe this is heading to their way of building towards his retirement match at a pay-per-view.
Okay.
I don't know. But I'm intrigued as to what it means. I think that's definitely tied into why they've been saying he's the greatest of all time. I think that this is possibly leading to his retirement match, and I think people are not reading it that way. But if you read the crumbs that they're putting here, I can see this being what they mean.
Because there were some parallels this week on retirement type speeches, because it did start to feel like how Sting was talking earlier on Dynamite this week. The way that Cena was going for. And Cena has went on record recently to be like, yo, I don't know how much longer I got, big dog. Y'all aren't going to be getting me out here at these WrestleManias and fighting with these young boys too much longer. I think he's probably looking for a hard out. I could see I mean, WrestleMania 40. What's the best way to go out, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they book his retirement match there. Maybe he racks up a win or something. And I don't know. Maybe the story leading up to WrestleMania is his retirement match. Maybe
Mm.
that's where this is going. If that's not where it's going, I don't know what we're doing.
If it's not what's going on, well, I'm very confused.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going if that's not the case. But as you said, we did get a big retirement announcement this week
Yep.
because the man they call Sting did come
Dang.
out and say that his last match will be next year at Revolution 2024. I thought this was a really good segment. I wasn't a big WCW kid growing up,
Mm-hmm.
so I knew Sting. I've of course seen Sting wrestle, but I don't have the same connection with Sting that a lot of people have. And
Mm-hmm.
so seeing his run in AEW has been so interesting with that context. I really love the idea that he didn't like the way his time ended with WWE. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
guy was considered the ultimate anti WWE guy. I would say he's the most famous non WWE wrestler there is.
Far and
Um,
away.
and so for him to go there and then it ended so poorly, he didn't get what we thought he was going to get out of it. No taker match. He had that awful match with Triple H, and then he got injured,
Mm-hmm.
and he was stuck in that contract for years. It just ended really poorly,
It
like
wasn't right.
on a creative standpoint. It just felt like not the way for his career to end. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea that he got to do this his own way. I think there are a lot of really cool symbolic things here. The fact that he's ending his pay-per-view at Revolution, that's such a big
Mm-hmm.
statement because, like I said, he was a big non-WWE wrestler. And being the guy that wrestled for the alternative and ending
Mm-hmm.
his career there at Revolution, there's also cool things like he debuted at Winter is Coming. His career
Yeah.
is going to end at the beginning of spring.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. So
Bars. Yeah, it's as someone who came up watching wrestling in the 90s, and I was a huge WWF guy. I have this vivid memory. I think I was probably in second grade. This kid brought in birthday invitations, and I'll never forget they were WCW, purple and gold, and on the front of this fucking thing was Sting. He represented their whole brand.
yes,
Like on the WWF side, like there was Hogan, there was Macho, there was Brad Shawn, all these people. WCW was Sting. That was the brand. He was the whole entire brand. Ric Flair and all these people were kind of around Dusty Rhodes, but like when you thought of WCW, people thought of Sting. They thought of that face paint. They thought of that. Then when we got to the Attitude Era, like their whole other side, WCW came to prominence and dominated because Sting versus the NWO. Like he carried the back of their whole company. He carried the whole company on his back coming up. And so, like I said a few days ago, WWE had one job when they hired Sting, one match to book. Put this guy in the ring with the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's all we want. You don't have to do, and you can do one match. That's all we want. Because through the Attitude Era, through everything, it always like the big gimmicks or WWF has the Undertaker and WCW has Sting. One day we'll see him wrestle. They come and they don't do it because I don't know why. There's been stories, there's been all this stuff. Didn't happen. Then he has the unfortunate thing with Seth Rollins. We all kind of like we're like, oh, this Sting's washed, man. Like, I don't know. Like, even when he came into AEW, people were like, I guess, like, it wasn't really that great when he ended in WWE. But then he starts having all these crazy matches with Darby's jumping off of balconies. He's doing shit with ladders. He's getting super kicked by the Young Bucks. He's just having a great time, just having fun. And he got to turn it all around. So for him to go from that to getting to have this great retirement, whatever it's going to be, I'm sure they have something crazy cooked up. And there was some emotional roller coaster in that promo. He said the thing about Hogan, and people were like, "Nah, big bro, we don't.
Nah,
We
big
don't get
boos for
down like
Hogan.
that."
Big boos
Nah,
for
bro,
Hogan.
we good. We good.
It was a very interesting promo.
Because people were kind of confused when it started. It was like we kind of expect Sting to retire, but then like when he announced that it wasn't immediate, it was kind of like a sigh of relief. But then also like, damn, Sting's gonna retire.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and I definitely was one of those people. Like, I don't know what AEW run looks like for Sting. I wasn't the most excited, but man, he's been consistently entertaining.
He did it.
Um, I I don't know what he's gonna do in the last few months of this retirement tour. It definitely seems like he's gonna do a tag match. I wouldn't be mad at them challenging for the tag titles. Because it feels like it's overdue at this point. They're undefeated, him and Darby as a tag team. So I wouldn't be mad if they finally got that match, and that's the match that they lose. Um, I also think that they're very much. It seems like they're building towards Darby and Sting versus Adam and Christian. There's reasons to think that because he showed up during Adam's debut. Adam made a point to tell everybody how much Christian idolized him.
Yep.
There are a few breadcrumbs that I can see where this could lead to that being the tag match.
Is that the final match you do with Sting, or do you do him and Darby in 1-on-1 for his last match?
Well, he said he doesn't want a singles match. He said that he's not going to do a singles match. So I don't know. I don't know how you get there. I do feel like if nobody has pinned or submitted this guy yet, the guy that should pin him should be Darby. The story just makes the most sense for him to get that rub.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know how this ends, but I have been surprisingly entertained by this entire run with AEW. All the way to the point that when he was saying this, I was like, man, I could take some more months with this guy continuing to wrestle, man.
Straight up. Yeah, he's had a bunch of big moments throughout there. We've been a part of some of the moments live. And like, yo, Sting is still like Sting. Like, the crowd still gets excited like it's 1994 or whatever. Like, it's still like, oh shit. Anytime like he makes a surprise appearance, people are still like, it's Sting. Like, Tony Schiavone is really excited like it's Sting because that's Sting, bro.
This guy is just magical, man. He's just one of those guys, man. He's a massive star. Like, watching him no sell things and just seeing a reaction from the crowd when he does it. When he did that table spot and then he just hopped up and no sold it, and like the pop from the crowd when he did it was just amazing. Him jumping off that balcony, like, what are you doing, bro? You are in your 60s. Like, please relax.
Your grandpa. The grandpa shouldn't be doing this.
But no, he's been killing it. This is one of those that I think it should have happened before he left, because he did mention Dusty in this segment, and I'm just like, the fact that we didn't get Darby and Sting versus the Rhodes Brothers, as one of those matches, that's definitely one of those I think we missed out on. But I don't know. Do you think that people have been calling for one Goldberg to show up? Do you think this is where they bring in Goldberg?
No.
I just thought I would ask because, of course, there is nostalgia between Sting and Goldberg.
Yeah.
And I can see why you would bring Goldberg in during this retirement tour. Getting Sting and Goldberg in a ring together one more time would be a huge moment. It would get a big reaction. I don't know if they should do that, but I can see it.
I'll understand if they did do it, but like they shouldn't. But like if they did it, I'd be like, all right, I get it. If we're gonna do like one more last hurrah for Sting, like there's not a lot of people from kind of that era that you could bring in that'll be worth anything. You know what I mean? So Goldberg might be the only one that
I'm not saying this is somebody that wants to see it, but I think if we're doing a farewell tour for Sting, and we're doing the post WWE stuff, it makes all the sense in the world to bring Goldberg in as part of this, even if it's just a one-off. I don't know. You're definitely not going to bring Ric Flair in. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, the alternative, he wants too bad. Like, you call him today, he's on his way. But the alternative is bringing in Nate, and please don't do that. I'd rather have Goldberg than Nate.
I mean, I think you could do something cool, like give Andrade a match with Sting and Darby or something, and because he has a connection to Rick,
he's
or
in
something
the
like
corner.
that, or something. But I don't think we're not getting Rick wrestling. So I think the closest we get to like the WCW rivalry is probably Goldberg. And I mean, they've already done the Jarrett match, so that's about the closest you're going to get to the TNA stuff is the Jarrett feud. So other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who ends up being his final match at Revolution. I am definitely excited to see
And we don't know anything about Revolution where it's going to be in anything. They're just like prepping us for when it does happen. Like if y'all want to bring it back to San Francisco, I won't be not be mad at that at all.
Yeah.
Hmm? Ah, ah.
Wouldn't be mad at that, but I mean, when you say Sting, I of course think that you should be in Carolina.
Oh yeah, it could be. It could be. Sting has a couple of spots that he could get his thing off. Atlanta would also be dope for
Yeah.
Sting. So like, he has some connections. But yeah, glorious career, man. He's been going for more than 30 plus. Like you could pick an era. Like we didn't get too much of the TNA stuff, but Denise was saying like he got a whole new legion of fans that probably didn't know anything about his WCW run that became fans of his Impact run because of the stuff he did there and the Joker Sting and all that. So now it happened again because there's a whole legion of young AEW fans that don't know Impact or definitely don't know WCW that just know that's Darby Allin's big homie.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the fact that this guy decided when after his contract was over with WCW and all these other people were going and taking the money from WWE, he was like, nah, I'm gonna go over there to TNA and do something else and completely, you know, flip the script again. Did the,
Yeah.
main event mafia stuff and did like the stuff with the match with AJ. He had like a bunch of other stuff with TNA that is just like a completely different chapter of his career. The fact that this guy has been around for this many decades is just
So
insane.
many.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his retirement match looks like, but he supposedly says that he has a plan in mind. He said that way back last year when he did the Ringer article, and that's where I got the quote where he
Oh,
said
that
that
he doesn't want to do
he
the
doesn't want
singles
to do a
match.
singles match. He of course said that he wanted Darby involved, which tells me it's probably going to be a multi-man match or a tag match, but I don't know what that looks like.
Right. And shout out to Sting also being a Kevin Nash. There's a famous story of when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall went from WWF to WCW in 1996, and they were like, "Yeah, we were happy because we were getting Sting money." Like that's the thing is like they were getting the same amount of money as Sting, so they were getting Sting money. Like that means Sting was getting that guap over there. Is all I'm trying to say, and they matched it. So like
Yeah,
he not only was he the face of the brand, but he was getting that guapper, and he has his own
he
term, Sting money.
get into the bag. Yeah, Sting. I think we're probably going to get some more tag matches during this retirement run. Um, I don't. They could do the FDR match. Maybe they could do the Bucks match. In the meantime, there's still stuff you can do. Like I said, I would not be mad at them challenging for the tag titles. I think it makes
I
a
like
lot of
it.
sense. But
Yeah,
I don't think that they should win them. And I don't
it
think
should have been FTR though, so they have to get the belts back, or like what's going on here? I'm still confused about this.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think even if they get the tag title match, I don't think that they would win the
No,
belts. I don't
no,
think they need to win the belts.
no.
Um, but yeah, there's so much stuff that they can do. Um, I don't know. I'm excited for whatever it is going to be. Raises the that definitely raises the profile for a Revolution. I definitely think they're going to sell a lot of tickets for people that just want to be there for Sting's final match.
Yep. No matter what the match is, people are just gonna want to go now because that's a monumental moment, and this is actually gonna be it. I don't think this is other wrestler retirement of I'm just saying it in a year I'm gonna come back for Saudi money. No, this is like I'm done here. You can't catch me at Crown Jewel, big dog.
Well, he did say that in the promo that this is it. The
Mm-hmm.
one thing you can tell for sure, this is it for good.
This is it. Do not call me no more after
Well,
Revolution
yeah,
is what Sting was
well,
saying.
he was not supposed to have the run that he had with AEW.
Right.
The match that he had at Revolution the first time was supposed to be the one match. He was only going to do the one match and be gone. He's been here since 2021 though. So, and it's so
And a whole
wild.
bunch of I wasn't supposed to do this match. It's 2 years worth now.
But yeah, but that's so wild that now that I think of AEW, like I can't even imagine AEW without him because he's been there so long. Um,
He's a synonymous with the AEW character, which sounds wild. Like
it
he's been
does.
synonymous with so many different companies. Like I said, he was the face of the entire WCW brand. Then he became a big, huge part of TNA brand for a long time. And now, like we think of the history of AEW, and Sting has been a part of so many big moments. And you think of all the legends. When you think of legends, like Sting's number one. Sting was here.
Yeah, I think he I mean, I really like the way that AEW books their legends, and I
Yeah.
think that they've done a really good job of, showing respect to him and showing respect to his legacy. Um, yeah, I really could go more months of watching this guy wrestle. The
Seriously.
schedule that he wrestles, because he doesn't wrestle, all year round. So,
No.
but if he says he's done, he's done.
They choose the best spots. Speaking of not choosing the best spots, they announced a match with Eddie Kingston and the Ultimate Finesser, Jeff Jarrett. Philip Lindsay. Why?
I don't know. I don't know what Jeff Jarrett has on Tony Khan. I
got
don't know what's going on.
Something is going on. Because how does he keep doing this?
I don't know how he keeps getting away with this.
How does he keep doing this?
No idea. But
How is he in a match with Eddie Kingston? And when I saw that graphic, I was so confused. I was like, it's Jeff Jarrett, but I'm still like, how does he keep doing this?
I don't know how he keeps getting away with this. But I will say this, because I keep thinking this every time he gets these matches. I'm just like, but why? And then we get to the TV stuff, and it's like, but that was actually good. The only time
that's the issue, is it be hidden.
But the only time I can say that this was terrible was the Chainsaw Massacre match. That was awful. But a lot of times he'll do things I'm just like, I'm not into this. And by the end of the match, I'm like, that actually was kind of a lot of fun.
That one match at Double or Nothing, everybody was like, this match sucks. But by the end of it, we was like, all right, we're into this.
Same thing with the Revolution match. Everybody was like, please do not put these belts on Jarrett and Lethal. And they got that huge boo when it looked like they were going to win. Right. And I'm just like, no, this is actually working. It's serving the purpose that's supposed to work.
That's what's supposed to happen.
And to that point, the promo last night on Rampage was good. The Eddie Kingston stuff with him backstage was actually good.
That's the issue. Jeff Jarrett knows if I get in the position, I'm gonna knock it out the park, and that's why he keeps getting these. Because when we put him in there, he be cooking.
Can't keep getting away with this though.
But also,
but I don't know where we're going with him.
Anytime somebody sees Jeff Jarrett or Matt Hardy on a graphic, they just cannot handle it. Also, why did they keep breaking in case of emergency and calling Jeff Jarrett and Matt Hardy? They got a whole locker room full of very talented people. Like if we saw Eddie Kingston against, I can name 10 guys right now better than Jeff Jarrett that we would be amazed on. But instead, Jeff Jarrett gets it.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. Man, speaking of Eddie Kingston, like I said, I haven't finished all of Royal Quest yet. That pop that guy got in the UK, man.
He's over.
Eddie Kingston is one of them guys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Massive pop when he came out at Royal Quest.
He's big time.
Yeah, he's out of here. And
Jeff Jarrett's going to beat him.
I don't know why we're doing this match, but that will be one of the matches tonight on Collision, along with Andrade versus Bryan. I believe we've got 3 title matches for Battle of the Belts.
Mm-hmm. It's the Acclaimed against Daddy Magic and Dan Garcia.
Yeah,
Orange Cassidy's taking on John Silver, won the triple threat match at Rampage, and then the TBS Championship, Chris Statlander's taking on Willow Nightingale.
Yes. So yeah, lots and lots of wrestling tonight. You got Collision, Battle of the Belts, Bound for Glory. The New Japan Tag League just started as well. So lots and lots of wrestling.
It's going to be a busy night tonight. Let's get into a few super chats before we move forward because we got some. Will Chisholm says, Gunther even had a good match with Madcap Moss. Trash kills me when WWE used to fire people. They would say, hey, Vince like me if like... Oh, they would say, hey, Vince like me. If Vince liked you, he wouldn't get rid of you. Yeah, that's super funny when wrestlers say that when they get like released or something. They're like, well, I had the best time with Vince. He loved me. I'm like, I mean, if he loved you, I think he'd probably still be getting the bag over there.
The game is the game. There are a lot of people that Vince liked that ended up fired. I mean, that's just the game.
There's some pretty famous ones of that. Ryan Ben 666 says, respect equals merch. And until Sasha, Black women didn't have any merch. Yeah, they didn't make shirts. Jazz very famously, like Phil says, talks about not having an action figure, nothing.
Yep.
Will Chisholm says, I got to ask why y'all think WWE let Bianca cook outside, having her lose to Becky in 8 seconds just to have a moment.
Um, I mean, I hated that SummerSlam match, and
Yeah.
in so many ways, I hated it. I
Mhm.
hated the way they put Carmella in that
But
match.
it worked.
But in the long run, it actually worked out because her and Becky did have a really good feud. You could make the argument that that's the best feud of Bianca's career.
Yeah.
Um, so it did work out in the long run. But I do think that they just realized that at some point, like, no, Bianca is marketable,
Mhm.
and I don't know what ended up being the thing that changed that. I don't know what ended up being the thing that
They're
changed their
like, oh
mind.
yeah, we have a superstar. We forgot.
But she is marketable. She is her. Like they're teeing up the reality show as we speak.
Right.
Um, she has been doing stuff like the Fendi thing. She's done tons of interviews and stuff outside of this. She just did the Kiki Palmer podcast.
Maybe they realize that she's gonna be out of here because she's a big star, and they're like, we should probably do something with her before she's gone because she's huge.
I don't know, but you know,
Oh yeah, I want to watch that Kiki Palmer interview too because like those are two really good people that I like.
yeah, Kiki Palmer is hilarious. The clips that I've
Yeah,
seen are very funny.
she's so funny. Will Chisholm also says Nick pulled a CM Punk, kicked their ass out the show. P.S. I think Drew will face Cody next. Drew keeps saying slick shit about Cody.
I really think that Drew is turning heel, and Drew
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense as a um, foil for Cody. If you think about like Drew's trajectory with the company and Cody coming back, makes a lot of sense for a feud.
Yep. Coy Stalling says Grizzled Young Vets been putting on great promos on Twitter. AEW bound question mark. Yes, that promo that they put out last week where they're out on the streets talking about being held down, talking about wanting to be able to cook, and they're back. Fire. 10 out of 10. That's how you execute a promo.
Um, yeah, I was a big fan of Grizzled Young Vets when they were with NXT UK. I enjoyed their foray in NXT before they turned them into Adam Family rejects. Um, but And so I was very happy to see them back in their element. They had the suits on. Brothers was
Mm-hmm.
looking clean. They was talking that talk. I loved it. And just just how much I enjoyed them in NXT UK. When he gets to the point in the promo where Zach finally says grizzled young veterans, and you can see how excited he was to say it again. I was hyped. I was out of my seat. I was like, yes. And so I don't know where they go next, but I'm excited to see these guys do what they're good at. They're a great tag team. Great. Zach is a great talker, great character. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if it'll be AEW, but man, I immediately thought like, man, if they had been released like a month or two sooner, they could have been in the tag league in New Japan. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
but they're already working. They got the Deadlock Pro joint jumping
Mm-hmm.
off. They've got some other dates that they've threw out there. I would be really excited to see them wrestle guys in AEW. When we did ask Grapsody, somebody threw out Acclaimed versus Grizzled Young Veterans, and that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Promo wise, I think that'd be a lot of fun. Um, I wouldn't be mad at them going to AEW if they want to get somewhere where they can do the big tag matches and they have all of the big opponents like FDR, the Bucks. I think that makes a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do because that promo was crazy. It sounds like they had a super fire match with the Workhorsemen at Deadlock Pro Wrestling. Um, this is gonna be, like I said, one of those ones that WWE is gonna regret. I don't think they really. Sometimes I don't think they realize what they have, and then those people go and cook, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be ones." They're like, "Oh shit, we had these guys this whole time, and we had them on with contacts and acting weird." But
Yeah.
better for us as wrestling fans.
I think Triple H knows what he had in them. He
Yeah.
he he likes guys like them and Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. It's just a shame to me that a lot of those NXT UK guys haven't transitioned over as well as Gunther has. Like Tyler Bate, I feel like needs to move up. Like, what is he still doing there, bro?
He's been in NXT for so long. He's
He's he,
ready too.
he's got to get out of there. Yeah, but Nathan Frazier's another one. He wasn't in NXT UK that long, but very talented guy. It's only a matter of time before he moves up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it did surprise me that they couldn't figure out how to get the Zach Gibson stuff to translate. They decided they got to do the boxer gimmick stuff like everybody on NXT at the time,
Weak.
and they didn't need that, man. I just think that they are part of that crop of talent that proves like there were benefits to NXT 2.0. In some ways, I understood why they changed it, but when you paint everybody with the same brush and decide everybody that needs to come in with a completely new character and this overstated gimmick, no, you didn't need them to do that.
Not every time.
They were already interesting as is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes when they do that, it's like I said, they don't know who they have. Like, let these guys talk, let these guys wrestle, let these guys do this. We don't want to see them as zombies or whatever the hell you tried to make them. They're way better than this, but they'll see.
No.
They'll figure it out.
Get back to the Liverpool accent. Get back to the shits, man. Soon to be recognized, man. Get your shit off.
Straight up. Will Chisholm also says, when Sting said Hogan helped him, I'm like, when? He didn't help your ass at Starrcade 98 or 97. Yeah, he didn't help him at all. He actually tried to fuck him. I don't understand why you're giving it up to him. But, in the back, things are different. We don't know these people on a personal level.
He's a gracious guy. I think Sting, what Sting meant is that he's had big character and career moments with Hogan. And so whether you like the guy or not, it's just giving him the credit that he was a big part of Sting's career. That's just undeniable at this point.
Right. He needed Hogan for them order to execute this whole NWO thing. It had to be Hogan on the other side. So yeah, I understand why I said that. Van Twinblade says, so Eddie can murk him into oblivion. I'm talking about why is Jeff Jarrett in this match. That's probably not what's going to happen though.
I mean, Eddie's definitely going to win, but I don't think it's going to be like this, beating that we think it's going to be. It's going to be a shenanigan. It's going to be a shenanigan heavy match. Watch.
It's Jeff Jarrett. There's going to be shenanigans. And then last super chat for now, Orion Ben 66 says, speaking of our quest, hide your women from Tanahashi. Yeah, Tanahashi tried to steal number 8. Shout out to number 8 on the Black Wrestling's 500. Michael Oku's valet, and pretty much executed because, who's not going to run off with Tanahashi?
Number 8. Yeah, nah, that was very funny. Tana with the good hair was definitely trying to slide in on Michael Oku's girl, and he was not having it. Not having it at all. That was very funny. Michael, Oku got his shit off in that match. A very fun 6-man match.
He's really good at this. That's why he was number 8 on the BW500. Michael Oku, an incredibly talented individual. If you haven't seen our interview with him, check that out.
Check it out. Every time I see this guy wrestle, I remember again how good he is. And I was sitting watching the exchange between Michael Oku and TJP, and I was like, yeah, this guy's a really good wrestler. Too bad some of the personality stuff and internet stuff has distracted people from how good this guy is.
I've when I was, it's been a long time now. When I was training a little bit for wrestling, TJP was doing the Puma gimmick with the mask, and he was super young still. And he was like a guy that when people talk about Zack Sabre Jr. now, that's how they were talking about TJP 15, 16 years ago. And he's been so good for so long that it gets kind of lost in it. And the shenanigans also definitely get lost to it. But he's so good. I wish they weren't shenanigans because that's how good he is.
You know what it is. A lot of really, really good wrestlers are a bit problematic.
Yeah.
Totally. And
I was just watching Austin Aries match, and I was all, damn, this guy was really good. If it wasn't for all the bullshit.
Austin Aries was really, really good as well, man. Yeah, but that's how it is, man.
You guys just can't shut up, man. I don't know. That's what it is.
A lot of really good wrestlers are problematic, man. That's just what it is. And TJP is one of those guys that I'm just like, if you didn't have some of this distracting from people, people would give it up to you like they should. But every time I see this guy wrestle, I'm just like, nah, this guy's good.
I was just thinking that this made me think of what Lacey Evans and Mandy Rose started a podcast, and whatever Lacey's talking about, something about being alphas. Like I couldn't even watch the whole clip because I was like, I'm like, why is this a podcast? Who wants to hear this shit? But there's a bunch of people that want to hear this shit.
go back to the Drake album. What this reminds me of is whatever that record is where he has the skit in the middle with the woman yelling, and she's just like, and then you proceed to go through my phone. Like, that's immediately what I thought of when I saw the clip. Like, she's just yelling. I have no idea what she's talking
why
about.
Why are you yelling, homegirl?
And you lied. You said that there were no more first class seats on this plane. We got on that plane, and I saw so many seats.
That's what this was. I'm like, I don't want this.
We went on that whack ass trip, and the chef kept feeding us the same food every day. Why do we have to keep eating jerk chicken and oxtail? And then you proceed to go through my phone.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. Everybody shouldn't have a podcast, big dog. Sorry.
No, and Orion is absolutely right. Mandy's face at one point, like, yo, what if I got myself?
She's like, oh no, I think I went a little too far. This is the first episode, and she already jumped all the way out the window.
Yeah, nah, that's definitely what I thought of when I saw that clip of that skit from the Drake. Her just like ranting and raving. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Speaking of everybody shouldn't have a podcast, they just announced that Suge Knight's gonna have a podcast out of his jail. He's gonna do a podcast in his jail. Yeah.
What?
Suge Knight is going to do a podcast from jail.
No. What?
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know where he's gonna get the equipment from. I don't know where he's gonna get the time from. And why? I mean, I guess if you're in there, you might as well tell all the story. Like, I'm in here already. Look, we was wilding. Tupac, I did have a hand in Tupac. Like, what are you going to do? I don't know. Yeah.
I did not hear this. I don't know where we're going with that.
But what? Podcast in jail. Because there's not enough bullshit out. He has to add his 2 cents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, listen.
Yeah.
wait a minute. Doing time with Suge Knight sounds absolutely insane.
Bro, you know people are gonna tune in. You know people are trying to hear whatever bullshit Suge Knight is talking.
Yo,
you know he about to talk some bullshit.
Doing time with Suge Knight is insane. That sounds nuts.
Doing time. Why are you podcasting, bro? Like I don't.
This guy tried to run a guy over with his car, bro. We can't. What are we doing, man?
I don't think we should be giving up like murderers like their own pod.
No.
And you know what he's about to be talking in there, Phil. He's about to be talking crazy.
No, he's about to be giving up all of the crazy.
Everything.
Nah, man.
He's already, like I said, he already in there. He might as well now. Like, what they gonna do? Take me to jail? I'm already in here.
Yo.
Take me to jail.
Take me to jail.
It's crazy out here. Yeah. Anybody could get a mic and talk. When people say that, it's like a meme. Like they need to stop giving people mics. And yes, they do. Honestly.
Nah, this sounds crazy.
You're not about to be tuning in and doing time with Suge.
No, I will not be tuning into that. No.
It's cold world, crazy world outside.
Wow. We've got some Humper chats before we slide out of here. Doing time with Suge Knight is insane, bro. What? From Tony P says, I guess the recency bias is really strong because of how they're letting Bianca shine and handling Jade. But now that you remind me, yeah, they never treated women well overall, especially black women. Yeah, it took them a minute to get it right with the women. I think that now, you know, we see things like the women's revolution. You've gotten a lot better than they had been, but yeah, it took them a minute to get it right. There's still some warts there if you really.
I mean, Mercedes and Trinity they left for a reason.
Yes, that was just last year. That wasn't that long ago. Let's see. From D-Lo Diggs, playing catch up, but hope everyone is doing well. Also, how about them Grizzle boys, Grizzle Young Vets? Also, this man's Nick Wayne has had a rough welcome to adulthood.
Straight up.
That backstage segment should not have been nearly as funny as it was to me.
I cried.
But it was very, very funny. It was very soap opera-ish. Very, very funny, man. Nick Wayne's mom came and played her part very well.
Christian saying you should have picked up the phone as he walked out. Is like, this man's a goddamn menace, dude. How does he? How does he keep doing this?
Big time menace.
And Nick Wayne being the angsty teen and like, shut up, mom, I hate you. You're dead to me.
Yeah, no, all of this stuff with Nick Wayne is working for me, man.
I
think him being just this annoying bratty character, and just the smug look on his face every time he comes out with Christian and has Luchasaurus next to him. Like, nah, you're not about to beat me up now. I got muscle with me. I'm with my TV dad now.
It's working.
It's working for him. I like it a lot. JR being JR. JR is hilarious, man. Just
hella funny.
Unintentionally funny in a lot of ways. When Nick starts racing up and he's like, "Come on, man, it's your mom."
He's trying to get his little 2 cents in. JR's hella funny. They both was wilding though. Nick Wayne was wilding. I'm talking to your mom like that. Let me talk to your mom like that. Not for none.
For Bizarro Big L, Bizarro Big L says, my biggest issue with WWE can be summed up with the grizzled young veterans. They have and had insane single stars tag teams that they hamper with some horrible gimmicks, BS repetitive matches, feuds that go for 6+ months, and the former War Machine are a shadow of their past self. War Machine is one of the biggest disappointments from that NXT run.
I thought that one was like really easy. I'm like, here it is, you guys, do it.
It seemed like it was so easy to get this right. I mean, I was there when they first started Bubble Up, and those war chants were so loud.
They were huge, yeah.
At NXT TakeOver Chicago, I think that was NXT TakeOver Chicago too. Those War Raider chants were so loud, and they brought them up, and they were like, "We can't have war in their name," so that ruined their chant.
Okay, we got it. I got it. We could probably move forward.
And then you tried to like lean too heavily into the Viking stuff, and it is just, it's not working.
They never recovered after they did that. Remember, they did those skits with Street Profits where they were doing games against each other.
The cinematic match.
Yeah,
it was not good. But yeah, not for nothing, Ivar has had some good matches with Kofi recently. They can still wrestle, but man, this didn't seem like it was that hard, man. They should have.
They could be in a bigger position with like how both of those guys can go and how over they were coming in. All you had to do was like finish like this. There's a couple of teams we're talking about, like with the Triple H thing, where you just said about he probably liked the Grizzly Young Vets. There's a couple of those crops that are like they came in at the wrong time. Now, like if they came in right now, they'd be super over because like the game has changed. But they came in that part where they didn't know how to transition the NXT people to the main roster, and somehow they figured it out.
Yeah, War Raiders was definitely among that crop of tag teams that was doing all the indie stuff, and they were smoking it. New Japan, the Ring of Honor stuff, and man, it just seeing where they are right now is just, it's sad.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they get back and they're healthy again soon. They do have the injury, but boy, the leaning too heavily into the Viking stuff and the Valhalla stuff is just not for me. It's just not good. Speaking of cinematic matches, I did think about that immediately too, because Sting pitched the cinematic match for the Taker match. And they didn't go for it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if his last match is a cinematic match. When you tie that to Darby, and Darby has been filming a lot of his own stuff, and he's been doing the creative side of other things, I could very much see them trying to cook up a cinematic match. His first match at Revolution was also a cinematic match as well. So I could see it.
What kind of contract do Mean Mark get? Could you get him for one match in AEW? Hey, Undertaker, what if we No, he would never.
Remember
that
when
would be very interesting.
Remember when Mark was supposed to do Starcast?
Starcast. Oh yeah. They did not like that. They like changed the whole set of rules for that. They were like, hold on a minute. Absolutely not. You think you're gonna have our Undertaker come and talk on your show that's not ours? Absolutely not.
Yeah. No,
they started letting him do his one-man show after that. They were like, oh, actually, you can have all you want. You don't need to go do that. You can do that over here.
Yeah, that wild times, man.
And that was the same year they had the infamous Bret Hart and Tom McGee match, And it was going to be the first time they ever showed it. And then WWE all of a sudden had a special on that match, showed it before they had the show. I'm like, y'all are sick, dude. Like, y'all didn't care about this match until they started talking about this match. I'm glad Ari got your ass out of there, Grandpa. I'm on Team Ari.
I don't know if you want to be Team Ari.
From one nigga to another.
One more from one more from Bizarro Big L. WWE needs to rename the guys so they own. Wait, let me go back because this is confusing. WWE needs to rename guys so they own you shows they aren't for their performers. Pete Dunne needs his name. WWE screws with people's gimmicks and doesn't give them a chance to success. It's why Chad Gable has so little gold in 10 years. Respect your talent. Yeah, I think Pete Dunne is overdue to just go back to being Pete Dunne again.
I keep thinking every week that they're going to do it. Anytime he shows up, I'm like, today's going to be the day, and then it's not.
Yeah, I just, look, man, just make this guy Pete Dunne again. I get it. People are enjoying the Brawling Brutes thing. These guys are in a commercial now. They've had some good matches. Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne. So he's going to get people to buy into what he's doing. But Butch is not his name. I just don't know. His name is Pete Dunne.
Can't call him Butch. Don't feel right.
Yeah, it feels very generic. Just Pete Dunne is fine.
Mm.
But that's all of our Humper chats.
We got 2 more super chats, both from the homie Will Chisholm. Mandy, that's what happens when you have a MAGA friend on your podcast. Yeah. I mean, what did you expect, Mandy? Don't be trying to act weird now. You know what time it was when you got on a podcast with Lacey Evans, dude. Like, no, she was gonna be on that time. And then he also says,
"With Miss Lacey, You remember that Charles Hamilton record where he's rapping about the porn star Lacey?
Charles Hamilton had some wild records. I thought he was gonna be one of them ones, but he wasn't. And then lastly, Will Chisholm says, I always said Lacey's first gimmick gave me slave master wife vibes, and I'm from South Tennessee, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty much all of her gimmicks made me feel uncomfortable.
So. Well, I mean, I think the Southern Belle gimmick was working. I never understood why they stopped doing that one. That one seemed like it was working for her. She didn't need to change it. I don't know. It was fine.
They kept trying and it never worked.
Yeah, nah.
But yeah, that's all of our super chats.
Yeah, once you start reinventing stuff, like it just wasn't working for her. But yeah. Wild super chat to end our stream. But as always, man, we appreciate you, Will Chisholm. We appreciate everybody for stopping in to watch and show us love. Send us your super chats. Again, there's a ton of wrestling for you to watch tonight. Never a dull moment in this industry, I suppose. Never a waking moment where wrestling is not on your TV anymore.
Straight up. Not a time, not a moment. If there isn't, you could still find some. Catch me tomorrow. You guys, I'm not done podcasting for the week. I'm going to be on with Denise on her channel tomorrow, talking about Bound for Glory and AEW Collision tonight. Should be fun. There's a lot of good wrestling to watch tonight. I'm going to be watching Bound for Glory, of course, to review that tomorrow. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I will not be in Cicero Stadium. It's a shame,
Come on, I'm telling you, just pull up.
Both Phils will not be there. Don't be fooled. But it should be a good show. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Y'all are dope.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. You know what it is. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsay. This is Righteous Reg. We are out of here.
Peace.